Welcome back to Truth Quest. My name is Aaron Moriarity. I will be your host, and we're going to go on a quest for truth together. Yes, we are. And let's see here. Say we have someone in the room already. We're going to talk about full disclosure. And what's your ideas about this obvious limited hangout disclosure they're trying to pull off here? What is it that you, what's your opinion on that? I just want to get your opinion. And I'm going to share this out, and please share this wide and like it and share it and subscribe and hit the bell and everything else like that. And we'll all be very happy. Okay. Well, I hope you're all having a wonderful, wonderful evening, and thank you for joining here. There we go. We got a little bit of music back there. And I'm just putting this out there on my Facebook page. And we'll get some people in here to take a look at this. I hope you're all doing well, and I hope the music isn't too loud. So if it's too loud, let me know. I'll turn it down or turn it up, whatever the case may be. Just want something in the background. Yeah. So, all right, I'm in a spaceship. I'm, cruising around right above the earth, and I'm watching everything happening down there, and I'm just amazed. It looks like Chris Schaus. Now, your name will show up if that's what your is your name on Zoom. So I'm going to let you in here. Let's see what you have to say, Chris. Hello, Chris. Hello? Okay, I'm asking you to unmute.
I know how to do that right now.
There you are.
Hi.
Hi, how are you doing?
Good.
Good.
What's interesting to just pop in there on Zoom.
Yeah. And so have you heard about the limited disclosure that they're trying to do, what, the 25th this month? Did you hear about that?
No.
Isn't that amazing? Well, a lot of people are hopeful that it's from this Pentagon study they did back in 2004 about UAPs or UFOs. And so they're making this announcement. They're bringing this stuff forward, apparently. But it's more or less pretty much a nothing burger compared to what we're wanting. So what's new in your world out there, Chris?
I just figure it's probably another distraction, you think?
Yeah. Well, it's long overdue, very long overdue.
Well, Trump called for it.
Yeah, Trump called for it. Yeah, that's the only thing only reason anything ever got done. A lot of things he got done, he'd make the comment, they've been trying for 50 years, but no one can get it done. And I got it done, and for a lot of things, a lot of common sense things. Oh, there you are. The storm is upon us. Yes, it is. So what do you see? I mean, what do you foresee President Trump being reinstated, or how do you think that's going to go? What's your opinion?
I pray that he is or can be. We're in unprecedented times, obviously. I don't know what it would look like other than either Biden just leaves the White House and Trump is reinstated, or we have to have a completely new vote
Hmm.
that's run by the military.
I've heard that too. Yeah. It is pretty unprecedented, uncharted territory. Um, we'll have to see. I'm sure that, I saw a letter from General Flynn today. It was very reassuring and very kind of uniting. It's we have to unite. United we stand, divided we fall. And they're dividing us more than this way. They're dividing us this way and this way and this way. Any which way they can, they're dividing us. Um, but we're all just still we're so all just Americans, right?
You know, I didn't ever have a racist bone in my body that I knew of.
Uh-huh.
I always judge the person by their character,
Right.
not by the color of their skin.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. And I remember, when Barack Obama was first elected. I mean, I thought that was great because I thought, wow,
I
this
voted for him the first time.
yeah, me too. Yeah. It's like, wow, there is no racism. Look, we have a black president. Very proud of the country at that point. But
He did his best to start the division.
like he didn't do anything. I mean, it was really quite pathetic. And you look at all that Trump was able to accomplish because he had, I think not only is he smart and good at a lot of things, he's also very good at inspiring other people to do better than they thought they could. Trump is, he can inspire people around him to do great things, and that's how he's able to get all this stuff done is he inspires all these people, he's good at that.
Part of New California State, and they've been having people run each state by algorithms.
Okay. I'm having a little bit of hard time hearing you. I'm going to turn the music down some more.
Sometimes this microphone acts up on Zoom. I don't know why.
Okay.
When I do my videos, it works fine. So,
All right.
like California numbers were like almost completely reversed as to reality. Trump really got 11,250,000 in California. And
Yeah.
Biden got 4 million.
Really?
That's what the guy that does the algorithms, and like the guy that does the algorithm says, it can't be changed. It isn't something that is nefarious that can be changed. It is what it is.
Yeah, I'm getting some weird feedback sound. I'm gonna have to.
I'm wondering if it's my machine heating up.
I turned the music off. I think we're getting some kind of crazy feedback.
Like buzzing.
I don't know if that's from me.
It might be for me. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I cannot hear you very well though. I'm gonna put the. Let me see. I'm gonna put the Zoom link in the chat. I haven't done that yet, so I better do that. So you sure saw this quick. You must have been watching Red Pill, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I watch Red Pill all the time. He's great. He's got such a good show. And tomorrow night he's got Roger Stone, right?
That's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, that's gonna rock.
So did you hear the numbers I gave you?
I couldn't hear you. What was that?
Did you hear the numbers I gave you?
I'm having a really hard time hearing you. Hold on a second.
It's not you, it's me.
I'm multitasking here. I put the Zoom link in the chat there. Hello, chat people. Hey, Sopranos fan 11 is there. Kiz Baby. Hello, everyone. Jerry. Dark Brain. Thanks, Dark Brain. He's there. He's got the tool. Dark Brain's a great mod.
I like him.
The modest mod. So what were you saying about numbers?
These are California numbers done by an algorithmist.
Oh, like the vote numbers?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Trump got 11,250,000. Did you hear that?
Yeah, 11,250,000 is what Trump got in California.
In California, and Biden got 4 million.
4 million?
Yep.
They have 4 million dead people voting? Wow. Wow. That's a lot of dead people to vote.
Hey, listen, we need an audit in California too.
I think you know, I think that maybe we should have an audit after every single election. And I think that when they do the elections, everything should be filmed and live streamed. We should be able to see the screen of every worker and what they're doing. I mean, you know, like what they're doing with the audit. That's the way the election night should be, don't you think?
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, transparency. I mean, boy, they wouldn't let some of those poll watchers in to even watch, and they boarded up the windows. I mean, oh yeah, safe and secure election. That's why they had to board up the windows and not let any of the opposing party in. Yeah, that's how you have a fair election, right? I mean,
So, is
how
anybody
can
else coming in?
Hmm?
Is anybody else going to come in?
Does somebody else want to come in? Well, I certainly put the. Thanks, Aaron. Blushing at Dark Brain. Yeah, you're a great guy, Dark Brain. So I put the Zoom link in the chat. I can put it in there again. I think that's it. Is that it? I hope that's it. Hope that's the right one. Well, you were able to get here, so somebody else ought to be able to, huh?
Yeah.
So are you out there in California? Is that where you're at, or you don't want to say?
Yeah, I'm in California.
You're in California, yeah. So is the surf up? Is the surf up or surf down?
I'm not anywhere near there.
No, Northern California.
I'm 4 hours out of Vegas.
Oh, okay. Lost wages. Yeah.
I lived there for 18 years.
Really? Wow, that must have been interesting. I was only in Vegas once, just for part of the day.
I'm not much of a gambler, so.
Yeah, me either. No. But
They try to turn the level of the mic up, but I can't figure out how to do it.
I couldn't hear you.
Does that sound any better?
A little bit. There's an awful lot of background noise. I wonder what that is.
I don't know, I have a fan going, but it's a ceiling fan. But
That's okay. That's okay. Just talk louder or something.
Okay, I'm wondering if it's my my computer, it's like it's making a humming sound because it's getting hot.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you know, it just seems like California would be red. I mean, I've seen lots of videos of people in California, you know, big Trump supporters out there, lots and lots of them. So, and didn't they recalled Newsom, didn't they?
Yeah,
And
well,
did he needed what, like 100,000, 140,000 people to change their mind, and only like 48 people changed their mind or something like that. So will this work? Will this time, will it work? I mean, will they recall him?
he's got emergency powers,
Oh God.
and he won't give them up.
Oh,
He was supposed to give them up on the 15th, and he's changed his mind now.
of course he will.
He's a dictator.
You know, he's basically pretty much just a hairdo, pretty much. He's a hairdo. Hey, he's got politician hair. Let's get that guy in there. And we'll just, you know, control the media, control the votes, and control the elections, and we'll get him in there. Because hasn't like 2 or 3 families been running California for decades and decades and decades? Right?
Yeah, Pelosi's, yeah.
The Pelosi's.
Well, she's married to a Pelosi, but her father was a big crime
Right.
in Chicago, I think.
Excuse me. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's pretty weird. Pretty weird what's going on there.
So I don't know how long these elections have been stolen, but I can't imagine anyone voting for her or Maxine Waters
Oh,
all
terrible,
the time.
terrible,
Or
terrible.
Aaron Schiff.
Talk about someone who every time she opens her mouth, she incites violence. I mean, why don't they ever say anything about that? You know, I don't know. You know, me. You know what? I just thought of something. When Trump was still president and they were always after him, he should have just changed parties. Okay, I'm a Democrat now. Then he could get away with anything, but he wasn't getting away with anything because he wasn't doing anything wrong. But they certainly wouldn't be going after him. But maybe that might not have worked, but it would have been funny. I think he did say that, you know, or there was a meme anyway, where he said, well, I now identify as a woman, so sorry, Hillary, I'm the first female president. Because he identified as a woman. Yeah.
You know,
So he's hanging on to the power because the moment he lets go, he has to go. I mean,
you might as well let him go until November when he'd be up for election anyway.
he'll be up for election anyway in about a year.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know how the man could have ever won. Well, because of the Dominion machines, that's how. They basically control all the elections. Yeah, they're going to have to go back and check every election. And they're going to have to check every election every year, right after the election, every single year. Because, you know, they audit companies all the time. It's not uncommon for a company to be audited every year, you know? And this is an election. That's very important. I mean, it's quite amazing that hasn't happened yet. And I remember when Al Gore and Bush Jr. were fighting it out there, and it was just Florida was deciding it. And Gore just gave up. I thought he had a case. He should have fought it, but he didn't. He didn't have backbone enough.
That's just like that John James in New York who just gave up.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think and sometimes they can pressure these people by saying, oh, it's the peaceful transfer of power, and it's like, oh, okay, for the greater good. But,
Probably threatened him or his family.
oh, yeah, probably threatened them. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah, definitely. Definitely. Well, so full disclosure is what I want as far as the UFO alien information to come out. I think it's way overdue. I mean, there's even a report, a still top secret report, that the cavalry has from back in the cowboy days of chasing these gray small people into a cave where they found these round silver discs inside the cave. That's the cavalry. We should know about this, you know? We should also know that the only surviving son of Abraham Lincoln, when he was an adult, he was an investigator. And one of the things he investigated was a train accident where a train was struck by an unidentified metal flying disc. That should be in our history books,
Yes,
you know?
absolutely.
But so, it's long overdue. And what they're promising on the 25th is going to be a nothing burger. And there's this Lou Alessandro guy who supposedly worked for the Pentagon. But again, this isn't the Pentagon that's connected to all of the past dealings that we've had with extraterrestrials and extraterrestrial technology and dealing with aliens. That's not going to even be touched because they're just talking about a very limited investigation from 2004 where they spent a couple $1 million and they talked to pilots and Navy pilots, and they got some footage, and we don't know what they are. And so really it's a big nothing burger. Oh, they're doing things that our ships can't do. Well, that's been happening since the cavalry time. Let's bring it out in the open. Let's talk about it. Let's open it up. We're adults. We can handle it. I mean, what would you think if tomorrow you woke up and there was a big headline? Aliens walk among us here, the president or whoever walks out, the general joint chiefs of staff walk out with 6 different types of aliens, and it was this big thing and all their technology. How would you react to that?
Well, I would not be scared because I believe that they exist because I've seen them.
Oh, wow.
My mother and I saw one once when we lived in Utah.
In Utah.
It was up along the Wasatch Mountains.
Okay.
It was cigar shaped.
Okay.
And I mean, if I had seen it by myself, nobody would believe me, but my mom with me,
Uh-huh. Wow.
This kid's like going right along about the middle of the mountain. It was interesting.
Wow. And it looked like it was metal.
Mm-hmm.
And it was cigar shaped. It was so if you held your hand up like at arm's length, like how long would it be? Like, would it be as long as your hand or like the size of a quarter in the air or something?
Quite a ways away, but it's probably about this long on the mountain.
Wow. So it was pretty big.
It wasn't small.
Wow.
But we were curious enough that we called the airport to see if they're doing the report.
Yeah. No reports of a wingless airplane floating around. So the airport didn't have any wingless airplanes. Yeah. Well, that's one of the designs that William Tompkins he designed a cigar-shaped craft for the Navy back in the 40s, in the 50s, but they were built in the 80s for the Solar Warden program, along with a lot of other spaceships. But one was a cigar-shaped one, so it might be ours, you know,
In the late 60s.
if it's one of those.
I guess it could be Earth.
Hey, Teresa, Mud Rabbit. All right, everybody's here. Sopranos fan, Major Face Palm. I like that name, Major Face Palm. Love it.
But I wouldn't be upset or worried, or I would be curious.
Yeah,
But nothing like the radio show that
yeah. I think that most people would be like that because, I mean, let's face it, people have been watching Ancient Aliens for 20 years. I mean, nothing's going to be a surprise, right?
what was the name of that? Where, what was the name of that radio show that was got put out? Where they said the Martians were landing.
Oh, the War of the Worlds.
Were killing themselves and
Oh yeah, yeah, but yeah, but just because that happened once doesn't mean it's going to happen again. I mean, it's kind of like a one-line joke. Once you tell it, you can't tell it again. I mean,
but how many years ago was that? And there's a whole new generation.
yeah, but I think they have more nefarious reasons for keeping it secret now. I think they're actually, you know, committing crimes against humanity. There's some whistleblowers claiming that there's a galactic slave trade, a galactic human slave trade. We're being traded for technologies and other biologicals, you know, by the hundreds or thousands, and nefariously, because they figured out once we could kind of like control our space around Earth, we started noticing, or they started noticing, whoa, they're coming and they're taking humans. They want humans. So they thought, okay, here's what we'll do. We will not let them have humans unless they go through us. Then they have to take the humans we give them. The ones we don't want, we're going to give to them. But we're going to give it to them in exchange for other things like technology and other, you know, extraterrestrial biologicals. So that's very nefarious. So they're literally sucking up entire villages and slave trading them out, and have been for a long time. So very nefarious things possibly are going on. So they don't want to let it out because they'll go to prison for doing the things they've done, you know? Or promising scientists that, hey, you know, join the colony, one of the colonies on Mars, you know, you'll be, you know, one of the top people in this new, you know, frontier for humanity and blah, blah, blah. And they get there and it's like slave labor and they're, you know, toiling, and you know, all of their offspring are controlled by the government, and everything is terrible. So, yeah, I don't know if that's all true or not, but it definitely seems like it could be a possibility.
And did you see pictures of the Chinese landing on Mars?
Oh yeah, the Chinese lander landed on Mars. Yeah, I think that's good. I think we should get a lot of landers up there. I think we should put a lander up there. I was going to call up Elon Musk and make the suggestion, you know, hey Elon, you want to go to Mars anyway? Send a rover, send a verifying / debunking rover to go to all the spots where rovers have found interesting things that look like something. Maybe it's something alive, maybe it's not. But to go to those spots and film it from different angles and see if it is. Oh, it is just a rock sculpture, you know, carved by the sandy wind. Oh, it's just some rocks and they're in the distance, but the way they're lined up, it looks like a rat. It's not really a rat, or it really was a rat because there's nothing here now. Don't you think they should do that? I mean, they should send those rovers back to those spots just to check them out.
We need verification.
Yeah, verification, exactly. I mean, aren't they trying to prove something, discover stuff? If people find things in their photos, they should go back and check it out. Aren't they curious? I mean, there's pretty interesting things that they found. Even if it's just like a partial part of a statue or something from a previous, civilization, that's pretty interesting. Pretty darn interesting. Let's see. You know what I saw, and I want to show you all something here, friends. And thank you all for watching. I really appreciate it. Let's see. All righty. Yeah, okay. Here it is. Now, this is very interesting. Now, do you see that? Uh-oh. What do you see?
I see something with a arm on it that looks like a screwdriver or a drill.
Like a rover. It's like a little rover. Okay. I'm just trying to remember which one I clicked on. So that little rover,
Because the Soviets landed on the moon.
that was on the moon. Yes, that landed on the moon. The Soviets landed on the moon in 1970, and they landed another one in 1973. Now, I never knew this before. This is amazing. These were the first like robots sent to another planet, and Russia did it. Yeah, that's pretty amazing. And what's even more amazing is recently they woke one of these up with a laser flash, and it'd been sitting dormant for like 40 years, and it answered, and it had a lot to say. So it's been sitting up there for 40 years, and now it's talking again. So that's interesting,
Very.
Isn't that cool? I mean, I never heard about that. We were there in 69. We landed there, men on the moon, but that's a rover. It took pictures, took panoramic, beautiful, high definition panoramic pictures. And I'll show you the tracks that the two rovers made. So that's the path that the two rovers made, if you can see that. Hopefully you can see it. They're kind of squiggly, but yeah, so the two rovers, that's what they did. They didn't last very long because the sunlight is very, very hot during the day. And I think the lunar days are like 20 days long, and the nights are, very, very frigid. So
Are those freighters?
what?
Are those freighters?
Those craters, yeah, and those little lines are the tracks where the Russian rovers went. So first tire tracks in space. First tire tracks in space. So I thought that was very interesting, and I would have liked to have heard about that. That seems like world news, but yet I'd never heard of it. Had you ever heard of that? No. What else did the Soviets do that we don't know about? Isn't that weird? That's bizarre. So I highly recommend looking into this. Look it up and watch that video. It's fantastic. It's on YouTube. It's a great little video about the little Russian robot things. Pretty darn cool. Pretty darn cool. And the last time we talked about these doggone things. Now, these were the California drones. And I don't know if you ever saw these or not, but.
No, I never have.
No? So, yeah, a very clear picture. I mean, wouldn't you say? I mean, it's pretty clear. Pretty darn clear. Which is very unusual for a UFO sighting, but this is a very strange kind of UFO because they called them drones from the beginning, dragonfly drones, because they move like a dragonfly, kind of jerky, you know. And this was quite a few years ago when this came out, and all these photographs were taken, and it was just freaky, totally freaky, you know. And so they kept, you know, getting more shots, and these a lot of these were anonymously posted, so no one knows, you know, who took them. Okay, well, look at that thing. I mean, that's pretty darn clear, I think. And it's pretty impressive. And they're always like, most of the time they're found above power lines. This is out in California, so you might have seen these around. One of the researchers looking into this years ago discovered that there was a patent applied for by a California power company for an invisible, cloaked, floating anti-gravity drone that would fly above all the power lines and monitor them and kind of keep track of where there's a break in the line, and then they, you know, mark it, and then they call someone out, or maybe the craft could actually do some rudimentary fixing. But yeah, very strange craft.
Absolutely.
And here's the underside of it. I don't know if you can see this or not, but you might be able to see the little letters or the little writing under the little wing-like appendage, but they really aren't like wings. But it's the those letters or hieroglyphs that are imprinted or embedded into the metal that kind of works like a software that commands the metal to do certain things, like even parts of a motor, you know. In other words, the whole thing could be held together just by magnetic entanglements. Very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. I find it highly interesting. And then this guy named Isaac came out, and he put out a treasure trove of information. And so he snuck out hundreds of documents because he was part of the Palo Alto, again in California, the Palo Alto Carrot Project. Now, Carrot Project was the commercial application for extraterrestrial technologies. And they're trying to find, you know, commercial applications for this crazy, bizarre stuff that they had. that they were trying to learn from and make something out of it. And they did. And this is what they made. But apparently, microwaves can make them visible, so their cloaking mechanism stops. And that's part of the parts there next to the picture of one of the papers that this Isaac guy let loose. And his part of the project, he was sort of in charge of the language, which really isn't a language. It's these sort of hieroglyphs that, where is it? Okay. Okay, can you see that? Let me see.
Yes.
So when these symbols and images are printed on certain types of metal and they're subjected to certain types of electromagnetic frequencies, they do things. And he said it was like magic. He said all the scientists there, all the mathematicians and the physicists, they had to forget about everything they knew because this stuff was so bizarre that the only thing they could compare it to was magic. You know, it was just magic. But looks like they did get it going. Now, they didn't have anything flying during Isaac's time there, but they certainly do by now. And okay, so here's one. Now, this was the alien motor that's that Isaac alleges. When you activated it, those two other pieces would kind of float up into the position they're supposed to be in the machine if it was together because of the writing on it. So, you know, this has always been a very, very fascinating case for me. I've always just really liked this. The California dragonfly drones, look them up. And they're just, it's one of those very interesting, very different kind of a UFO puzzle. Have you ever heard of those, Chris? I can't hear Chris. Well, I thank you for for calling in, Chris. Really appreciate talking to you.
All right, I'm gonna go out then.
All right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me on.
Peace in. All right. Well, that was nice. Yeah, so there's the two pieces floating in space there. It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Yes. So okay, now here is a little meme that I put together, and you're welcome to take a screenshot of this and put it on out there yourself. It's a meme. This right here is William Tompkins' sketch of a ship that he designed for the Navy decades ago that was built and put into use in the 1980s under the Solar Warden program. And on the back of his book, he asks this admiral in the Navy, he gives a 5-hour presentation about all this information. He says, what of any of this could I put in a book? And the admiral told him, William, put it all in. You know, don't leave anything out. People need to know this. So To me, that's disclosure. That's from the Navy. That's awesome. And what does he talk about in the book, Selected by Extraterrestrials, which should be a movie. I have to think that somebody must be working on it. I mean, it would be a gem. So, the truth is out. We know this ship and many more were designed by William Tompkins for the Navy in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. These miles long spaceships were deployed in the 1980s in the Solar Warden program. The former top secret US Navy operation, we demand full disclosure now. This is what we need to do, people. Call your legislature, say, look, we got this book, read it. Tell us, it's already out, this book and several others. One also is Phil Corso's book, The Day After Roswell. That is another disclosure book. So between these two books, that's a heck of a lot of disclosure. So all these little triangle-shaped craft here are housed inside this giant craft, which is like an aircraft carrier in space, like a fighter jet carrier. And he even designed the way that the hatches open up and everything else. So he did that. He did amazing things. He helped us get to the moon. If you have any doubts that we made it to the moon, read the book, Selected by Extraterrestrials. Extraterrestrials helped us to get to the moon, okay? We made it to the moon. We needed help, and we got help. And that help came from Nordic extraterrestrials by way of telepathic communications to this gentleman here, William Mills Tompkins, truth hero, selected by extraterrestrials. And that's right. It's a fantastic book, and I can't express more how incredible that book is for all you truth questers out there. You read about them back in the 90s. Yeah, okay. So Mud Rabbit remembers the drones. No, they're not the size of insects. These are large. These are very large. They're, probably about as big as a medium-sized bus. They're very large. Yeah, we barely made it to the moon. That's right. We barely did make it to the moon. We are just barely, but we did. We did make it to the moon. And, you can take a telescope and you can see all of the moon landing sites, all 6 of them. You can see them via telescope. So if you have a telescope, you can actually see, and you can see the rover tracks and everything. So, I know a lot of people think we didn't go to the moon. I believe we went to the moon. Okay, I know it's easy to think that everything's a lie, and everything, most things might be, but they really did that. Let's give them credit for what they did, against all odds. And my goodness, William Tompkins designed the computer checkout system for Apollo for all 30,000 of the subcontractors. So all their parts had to get connected to this thing. All had to get hooked up, and they all had to all mesh with each other. And that's how they knew it was going to work. Because without that, I don't think that they would have made it. With 30,000 different subcontractors. Can you imagine that? What a nightmare. They did it back in 1969. From the early 60s moving up. That's how long they were working on it. And it wasn't just going to the moon, grabbing the rocks and going back. No. They were going to build out the moon with a big base and then build out from there into the universe. And that was the plan. It was a very ambitious plan. And in the back of the book, that Phil Corso puts out the day after Roswell are the Project Horizon plans to build out the moon base. And those were top secret documents that Phil Corso, Colonel Phil Corso, declassified himself. He was high enough to declassify these documents to put in his own book. Isn't that amazing? So he gave himself permission. That's pretty darn cool. Yes, there's astronaut crap on the moon. Yes, there's about 850 pounds of it in bags, and we need to clean that up. Yeah. Well, yeah, NASA lies, but you know, there's just too much evidence that they made it to the moon. Okay, they did fake some of the photos, but they only did that in case of if the other photos didn't work or the cameras broke on the moon. And let's face it, these astronauts were not photographers. Terry Hopper, okay, with all your experience in television broadcasting, you straight up believe a crew has been to that crusty ball hanging in the sky at night? Yeah, it's a place. It's not just a crusty ball hanging from the sky. Hi, Celestial Soul. Yeah, 100 years ago, most people were on horseback. That's right. Yeah, and you know, the past is great, but don't romanticize it. It's much better now than it was in the past. So yeah, I you know, I've heard people claim that we didn't go to the moon, and I understand their argument, but the photographs were taken just in case the other cameras didn't work, which they'd never tested before. But when they did go to the moon, all the cameras worked, but all the pictures from the moon were crap because they're not photographers, and the cameras were crap. They didn't send good stuff up there. They sent lightweight stuff up there. And so they got crap. And so when they wanted to let the stuff out, they went, okay, do we let just the crap real pictures out, or do we let some of these really cool looking Kubrick designed pictures that look really inspiring? Yeah, we'll take most of those. And then what happens years later, people say, oh, look at the shadow of this rock is going this way, and then this rock is going that way. That's because of the lighting, but if it's the sun, it's just one light. And yeah. And that is so when these researchers find a picture that's supposed to be from the moon landing, and they find something, some anomaly that more or less proves that it was not on the moon, they think that proves that we didn't go to the moon. Well, it's not that simple. Okay? It's just not that simple. Yeah, and 66 years before the moon landing was the Wright brothers flight. So it only took 66 years to get from the moon, from the very first flight at Kitty Hawk with a wooden and canvas glider with a homemade engine. They had to build their own engine with an aluminum block. They had to make a lightweight engine because that lightweight engine did not exist. So, and they had to redesign all the way wings work, because the whole idea of the airfoil wing, the current technology during the Wright brothers' time, you know, the French were supposedly the masters of this, but they were wrong. They were wrong, and they had to redesign wing shapes. So They did, but in order to do that, they had to invent the wind tunnel. So the Wright brothers, not only did they do something before anybody else, in other words, flight, manned flight, powered flight, but they also, but in order to get there, they had to do so much. I mean, it's just incredible what they had to do. It's unbelievable, really. Unbelievable. So, and it's not on here. Well, why didn't that happen? Okay, well, I got to share this out again, friends. It didn't share out. See, that's what happens when I'm something else. I tell you, it's always something, isn't it? Now, I'm really upset that my buddy Red Pill has been deplatformed on Patreon, which is horrifying. And also, he's having trouble with his website donations. So, if you can support him, he does a great show. He does great news. A fantastic guy, a true patriot, and he's really, showing us how we can all pitch in and be part of this solution, and to help make this a wonderful, wonderful country again. Because it needs to be. We need to get back to where we were. Isn't that right? Oh my goodness, Sandy Sue, thank you very much. Aaron, if you get a chance, I think people would like to hear about your first out-of-body experience. I love that story. Well, okay, I guess we can talk about that. Well, thank you very much, Sandy Sue. I really, really appreciate that. And, it's heartwarming. Thank you very much. Yes. Now, my first out-of-body experience was when I was a kid, and I didn't even realize it until many, many years later, after I'd been out of my body, I guess for the second time that I realized it, back in the 80s. But this was back when I was in second grade. And so I was just talking about, this is so funny. I was just on Red Pill talking about Mrs. Squibb and my second grade class. This is the same school. A lot happened in that school, in that partial school year. So I was out at recess. Okay. I was new to the school, so I didn't really have very many friends at the time. And I was just laying out in the grass. I'm looking up in the sky, and there was no real kids really close around me very much. But so I'm looking up at the sky, and it's just a beautiful, beautiful day. Just a beautiful day. And I noticed the moon. I'm like, wow. And that's the first time that I can remember ever consciously realizing that I'm seeing the moon in the daytime. And I was confused because I didn't remember ever seeing the moon during the daytime before. I just never noticed it. So I thought, well, that's weird. You see the moon during the daytime. I thought, well, if I can see the moon during the daytime, I should be able to see the stars, because the moon is bright, but stars, even though they're smaller, they're more like a flashlight. They're more like a shimmering diamond, something piercing. So I thought, well, if I can see the moon, I should be able to see the stars. I'm looking at the blue sky, and it's like, I don't see any stars. And I thought, well, wait a minute. maybe I'm not looking far enough. So I started looking farther and looking farther and looking farther. And pretty soon I was up there. I was up way above the earth. And then I looked down and I saw how frighteningly far away from my body I was. And I don't even think I could see my body. It was so high up there. I was up like at the edge of space. And I just zoomed right back into my body. I zoomed right back into my body. And I came back into my body and I was gripping the sod, the grass, the dirt. And my hands were just stuck in. And I was so afraid I was going to fall up again. And I was so confused and so frightened. And I crawled over and I was hanging onto the dirt. And I remember after that moment for weeks, I did not like going outside. I did not like it, not one single bit, because I kept thinking, if I go outside, I might float up again and I might not be able to come back down. So if I'm in a house or a building, there's going to be a ceiling to stop me. But if I go outside, there'd be nothing to stop me from, if gravity gives way again, if I find myself up in the stratosphere, it was frightening. And I did not tell anybody about it. I mean, when we were kids, if you had something like that happen to you, you didn't talk about it. I mean, anything might have resulted in a spanking back then, I mean, you didn't really talk about much, because you didn't want to get, oh, really? I wasn't supposed to do that? Oops. I remember once when I was a little kid, I was so proud of myself because this other kid taught me all of the swear words. And I was so proud that I learned them all. And I came into the house, hi, Mom and Dad, I learned all the swear words. And I went all through them and, oh man, was that a mistake? I was so proud that I learned them. Well, that was the last time I used swear words in the house. And I was pretty young at the time. I didn't really know what any of those words meant. All I knew was my friend taught them to me and I learned them. But I learned that learning isn't always learning. That's what I learned. And I learned it early. Yeah, but but I feel sorry for kids these days because when I was a kid, I had a paper route. You know how cool that was? I had my own little business, and I earned my own money. I bought my own clothes and shoes and parts for my bike, models, and I even earned a vacation. I went on a snowmobile vacation, like a 3-day mini vacation, with points I earned from selling paper subscriptions. And I also, there was a newspaper for the paper boys and paper girls. Youth delivery, I don't know what they called it, but we were paper boys and paper girls. And there was like a little newsletter that they gave out. It was called the paper bag for us young news carriers. And you could submit cartoons into there. So I submitted quite a few cartoons. So that was my first published cartoons were in the paper bag for the Minneapolis Star Tribune back in way back before the turn of the century. We're talking, boy, I don't know, 70s? What was that? I was pretty young. That's for sure. You get down here, young man. You are so grounded. Yes, well, I didn't feel grounded in the second grade when I floated up into the sky like that. But, you know, I think it was because, you know, I was so young and I was focusing on looking further and, you know, going further up, you know, and I just found myself up there. It was so weird. And, you know, I didn't even really realize what the heck that thing was that happened to me back then. It was just awfully scary. But later in the 80s, when I was living in Rhode Island, I left my body. And after that, it was years after that, and I thought, wait a minute, there's that time in second grade. That was kind of like that. Yeah. And there might have been other times too, and I'm sure everybody else has had things like that happen to them as well. And if anybody's had experience like that, you're welcome to call in. Feel free. Paperboy is also one of the best video games of all time. I didn't know that. I don't know what that is. Okay, Sopranos fan 11 says apparently RH positive bloodlines have a harder time pulling down interdimensional energy. That would be most people on Earth. I'm AB negative, so I'm negative. I wonder if there's a connection to your RH negative blood type. Alex Collier says RH negative blood lines are interdimensional and fourth and fifth dimensional. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I seem to know things without knowing them. It's pretty weird. I know things instinctively. Like, I remember many, many years ago, boy, back in the 80s, okay? We're talking about the mid 80s, right? And I was working for Tonka Toys. I was in the, I was an industrial designer working in their toy design, toy and game design division, and I was the in-house inventor. So I had a very awesome position there. It was very, very cool. But anyway, yeah, the mid 80s, that's about when that was. Still nobody in the chat here. Alex Collier. Yeah, so when I was working there, one day they had like this. No, actually, it was after I worked at Hasbro, and I was working at Leisure Design. Okay, I was working at Leisure Design. At the time, I was working in Chanhassen. Okay, kitty corner from Paisley Park, and a lot of times I could hear music when I went home at night. But so I was working there, and it was like a little industrial park, and they had like this area for health. It was like Health Week or whatever. And so they were giving back rubs and talking about all that stuff. And people were getting their cholesterol checked and all that kind of stuff. People were that was like a thing people were doing, getting their cholesterol checked. And I remember back then, this was like in the, like I said, mid 80s. I was like, I'm not going to get my cholesterol checked. I'm thinking, they don't know what they're talking about. Why would I even get my cholesterol checked? So I never did. To this day, I've never checked my cholesterol. And guess what? I don't have a cholesterol problem. Because I still don't think they know what they're talking about. Now they say, oh, there's good cholesterol, there's bad cholesterol. Yeah, oh, really? Let me know when you figured it out. Okay. You're still working on it, aren't you? I don't trust them. I just don't. It's like, okay, they don't do bloodletting anymore. but they do a lot of things very similar to bloodletting. Okay. Have you ever covered or explored Human Resonance by Q Trendsetter? Human Resonance. You know, I did take a mini bike ride on Martha's Vineyard once, and the vibration from that mini bike did kind of put me in another kind of world, you know? It's kind of weird. Human Resonance. Yeah, are you talking about like the Schumann resonance and how that reacts with the body and everything else like that? Aaron, have you ever heard the song Laurie by Dickie Lee? It's about an interaction with a ghost. No, I've never heard that. But I do remember The Ghost and Mrs. Muir, great show on television, back when television was worth watching. The only thing worth watching on television now is, you know, you can watch your television as you throw it out of the top floor building. You can watch it all the way down until it spectacularly smashes. That's the best way to watch television. Watch it crash. Yeah. Celestial Soul says, I don't trust them either. I feel the medical industry tweaks the blood tests to make us sicker. Yes. And when they take my blood, it's like, when are you going to give it back? Are you done with it yet? Because I wasn't really done with it when you took it. Please give it back. Please put it back in one of these veins you took it out of. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's weird. Isn't that weird? Yeah, I was in the what do you call it? The emergency room a couple years ago. And I was in tremendous pain. Tremendous pain. I'm in there, I'm in pain. I can't remember what it was. It might be kidney stones or something like that. But I was in a lot of pain. And so they started working on me. They put a line in me and like the deal. And the nurse practitioner, the nurse or the doctor was, you know, injecting like one syringe into the thing that's going to go into my arm. And then she pumps another one in there and she grabbed a third one. And I said, wait a minute, what are you putting in there? And she said, well, I'm putting painkillers in. I said, well, I mean, you just put two in. I mean, let's wait and let's see what happens. I mean, you know, maybe that was enough because I can handle a lot of pain and I just don't want all that stuff in me, you know. And she was putting different kinds of painkillers. It's like, what is this? I know probably, I mean, if I was working in the emergency room, I might do the same thing. Oh my God, you know, okay, I better give him this. Oh, but that didn't work on this other guy. I better give him that. You know, that's probably going through their mind. But for me, it's like, whoa, let's hang on a second. Let's see if that worked first before we put the third, fourth, and fifth different kind of painkiller in my body. You know, I don't like painkillers. You know, when I go to the doctor, you know, sometimes they give you pain pills. Have you taken these things? These things will like wreck you. I mean, who would even want to take these things? I mean, I'd rather have the pain. Give me the pain. You know, pain's like your friend. It never leaves you. Thank you, pain. You're my friend. Yeah, you know, pills. I don't really take pills. Pills cause ills. That's my quote. Pills cause ills. Rhymes too. And it looks good. I got to make a shirt like that, huh? They took down my Teespring shops and they won't let me put anything new up. They won't, everything's loved that show. I don't do meds. No, I don't do meds either. No, not as very few as possible. You know, sometimes, oh, you know what, friends? I got this thing on my arm that I want to show you. Okay. Now, over the years, I've been getting these marks on my arms. Okay. And I've never shown them before, ever. This is the first time I've ever shown this. I don't know if it's going to show or not. Let me see. You see those marks? Okay, those are like little bruises, okay? You see that? And they're like triangles and stuff. Isn't that weird? These things just appear, right? Have you ever had those? I don't know if that means I'm being abducted. You know, how do you get little round, what do you call them? Bruises in shapes like triangles? How does that happen? It's not like, oh, I'm sleeping and I have one hand and I'm poking like this. I don't think so. I think I would have felt that. I don't sleep like that. It's not how I sleep. I don't touch that part of my arm when I sleep. So I don't know. No, it's not a freckle. No, it's the big one is like a bruise, and the little ones are like little pink, like almost like very small pink little bruises. But the other one is, see, I'll get a picture up here. Okay. I took a picture of it earlier. Let's see if I can find it. Okay, here's a close-up of it. I don't know if you can see this or not, but so I really can't see it right now. Where is it? Anyway, so that's what that is. Let's see over here. Maybe I can. Yeah. My system here, it's very, us RH negative have been abducted during our lives. I remember an incident in Berlin, Germany when I was 2 and 3 years old. Really, Celestial Soul? Call in. Let's talk about it. That sounds very interesting. Yeah, both my parents are negative. Yeah, you see there's definitely triangle pattern, sort of. And it's, and that center one is like a bruise. It's like a little round bruise. And the little specks are like, they're not moles. They're, because they're pink. You know, the picture doesn't show it very well. But yeah, it's very odd. But this happens a lot. I over the years, this has happened so often, but I always just blow it off. Oh, it's just nothing. You know? Whoa. And sometimes it's on both arms. Now this time it's only on my right arm. Usually it's on both sides. And it's always in the kind of this bicep area, you know, very strange, very, very strange, you know, very odd. Yeah, the reptilians, yeah, they might. No, they don't hurt. No, they don't hurt at all. In fact, you know, I have to check them to see if they exist. You know, when I wake up in the morning and I look in the mirror, it's like, oh my gosh, are they there again? No, maybe I'll I'll try getting more light on it. I don't know if this is going to work or not, but it's, I don't know. I can't really get it square with the, it's just like a little round bruise, It's a bruise. You know what? It does kind of hurt when I touch it. Huh. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's weird. Okay. But this time it's only on one arm. Most other times it's on the other arm, and they're very similar looking. Like, what? Are they like clamping me down or something? I sure hope so. Make my life a little more interesting, right? I sure hope that's happening. Hope I'm having some kind of adventure when I don't realize it. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? Yeah, the Bosque area, that's where they're surmising that these people came from. Yeah, it's kind of a round bruise. I mean, how do you get a round bruise? I don't know. Looks like I should have worked out and pumped up a little bit before I showed that arm, huh? Injection marks like vaccine. Well, unless it was a robotic injector in my sleep, because I have a theory about the human body. My theory is, and this is just a theory, if we were meant to have all of those toxins and strange things in our bodies and our blood, we would have been born with them already in us. I don't think that there's anything that we can put in our blood or our bodies that could improve anything. I think that, I don't know. I think it's like putting diesel in a normal gas car. I don't think it's good for the car to get this other stuff that's not used to. I think if we were meant to have that in us, it would already be in us. That's my thing. Peace in. Bye, Mud Rabbit. You taking off? Oh, Major Face Palm. Gotta go. Peace in, y'all. See ya, Major Face Palm. I like that name. That's a pretty cool one. Major Face Palm. Like that. Injection marks. No, they're not injection marks. That's for sure. I don't know how people could inject themselves. I just, it seems kind of scary to have to inject something into yourself. I don't know. Um, I know if you're a diabetic, you got to prick your finger all the time. Haven't they figured out how to read through the skin yet? I mean, the blood is right there in capillaries, right under one cell. I mean, you should be able to. Why can't they read? Why do they have to get a blood sample for? Maybe they can read. I don't know. It seems like they should be able to figure that one out. All right. All right, friends. Well, if you want to call in, you certainly may. AM, I had to inject myself in the stomach for a few weeks after a blood clot. Not fun. Oh my God. Underskin blood blisters. Yeah, I guess so. Maybe I could get my magnificent glass. I mean, my magnifying glass. Yeah, oh my gosh. Inject yourself in the stomach? Oh, wow. That must have sucked. Oh, man, needles. Yeah, I had one doctor say, I was getting a little squeamish because of the needle. And he goes, oh, you don't like needles? I said, no. He goes, you don't have to worry. These modern needles are real sharp. Like, oh, is that supposed to make me feel better? They're really sharp? Okay. Anybody been seeing a lot of bears lately? No? Okay. You know what? I'm going to re-put on my little music because is that okay? Does the music sound okay? All right. All right. All right. We're going to go do another little screen share here of something else I found. How's that sound, friends? Da, 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 da. Okay, we covered that. That's all? Oh, files. Nope. Alrighty then. Okay, here is, if you haven't ever seen Mona Lisa, this is the famous Mona Lisa that was allegedly brought back from the moon during Apollo 20. Now, I don't know if you've heard about that, but Apollo 20 supposedly was a 1976 secret space program launch that went to explore this 3-mile long gigantic spaceship on the far side of the moon. And in a triangle shaped, much smaller craft near that bigger craft, they found this body, this largely intact body of an extraterrestrial humanoid woman, which they dubbed Mona Lisa. And she had these strange things attached to her, from her nose to her mouth and everything else like that. And yeah, very interesting. And she has much bigger eyes. Oh, Terry Hopper, thank you very much. Have you read any good books on astral projection, out of body experience? I recommend Partial Astral Projection by Ophiel. Partial Astral Projection? No, I haven't read any books on it. I've done it once, and I don't really want to do it again. But thank you for your contribution. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Yeah, okay, that didn't really come out very well, did it? That picture of the Mona Lisa. Okay, I'm just seeing it now. It doesn't look very good. Well, I don't know why that is like that. I'll just have to undo it. And I'll have to try something else. Hold on a second, folks. Yeah, so Mona Lisa, they show her, they don't know if she's been up there like a million or a billion years. They're not sure, but she wasn't alive and she wasn't dead. She was somewhere in between. And there was also these very small little beings inside of her, kind of keeping her from totally dying, I guess. Oh, look at that. That's not what I was looking for. Okay. All right, folks. I'm just looking for a picture of that. Oh, Moon Towers. This looks like a good one. All right, Moon Towers. There it is. Okay, let's see if I can share this now. So there was a ship on the far side of the moon that Apollo 16 photographed. And many of you might already know about Apollo 20. But I'm trying to find the picture. There it is. Okay. All right. So here is what Apollo 16 photographed. Now, can you see that? I'm going to try and make it bigger here. Okay, I'm going to go a little bit smaller than that. Can you see that? Does that look good? I hope that looks okay. Now, can you see that ship there, right here? Look at that baby. That's over 3 miles long from here to here, okay? And this is the official NASA number. I pulled this from NASA's website years ago. Guess what? I went back recently. You can't get this on their website anymore. But that's where I got it, from their own website. I guess they're covering it up now. Too late. We already got it. That's what they don't understand about disclosure. We already have it. Okay. Look at that ship. Remember that ship. And I'm going to show you an image that was pulled from the footage shot during Apollo 20 to investigate this very large ship. And what they did was they took the image, someone took the image and they photoshopped it in with some familiar backgrounds. And so that's how big it was, friends. I hope you can see that. Look at that thing. That thing is enormous. And it looks strikingly like exactly like that image from Apollo 16. Now, Apollo 16 took many pictures of that craft, and I've seen 3 of them. Now, they probably took more than that. I think they were pretty much obsessed with it. And that flight with William Rutledge, Apollo 20, 1976, William Rutledge, a famous cosmonaut, and I can't remember his name. He was one of the ones that was on the Apollo Soyuz mission, a very famous cosmonaut. And a woman, which was also William Rutledge's girlfriend, a black woman, first woman in space, first black woman in space. And sadly, she died on the mission. So very sad. I don't know if they brought her body back or if they buried it there in the moon, but they did bring that body of Mona Lisa back. So that is somewhere in possession of some secret governmental thing. But look at that ship, and you can see the craters in it from being up there for 1,000,000 or 1,000,000,000 years. It's just been kind of pummeled, very large. They obviously could not explore the whole thing. Look how gigantic it is. I mean, look at the Twin Towers. And that thing it's just gigantic. So yeah, there's all kinds of things on the far side of the moon. That's why I think we should put a big mirror up, and so we can telescope and see the dark side, the far side of the moon. Wouldn't that be fun? I think it'd be great. I think it'd be fantastic. Okay, let's check out the chat here. The breakfast sausage craft, yeah. I've seen that photo, amazing pic. Matches exact with Apollo XX pics. It's definitely a ship. Thank you, Aaron. Thanks, Dark Brain. Yeah, it's undeniable. I mean, it really is. It's quite something else, really. Mars Anomalies, yes, the Mars Facebook page, yes, they have a ton. And I really think we need to send a rover up just to debunk some of this stuff. You know, the fact that NASA doesn't reverse course and prove and debunk some of this stuff. I mean, they could. I mean, not everything is what people think it might be, you know, because you're just looking from one angle. You got to look from several angles, you know. Like at night, you know, when I was a kid, I think for sure I was seeing something pretty scary, but it really wasn't something very scary. Shadows playing tricks. Shadows playing tricks. That's all it was. So yeah, if we're all please don't be expecting a whole lot of disclosure on the 25th. I'm not expecting a whole lot of disclosure. I think the most they're going to say is, yeah, well, we caught these things on radar. Our pilots saw it. We don't have anything like that. We don't think the Chinese do, or the Japanese, or the Russians. So we don't know what it is, but we can't say whether it's extraterrestrial or not. That's all they're going to say. They're not going to say there's definitely extraterrestrials. Here's a part from one of their craft. Here is, you know, the autopsy photos. They're not going to do that. All that evidence exists, and it has for quite a long time. All you have to do is look for it. It's just right there. Well, thank you, Celestial Soul. I always have interesting topics and pictures to show. Well, thank you very much. It's probably 1,000 years old. We're a brand new civilization. Yeah, well, you know, I think that, yeah, they don't know how old that ship is. It's been up there 1,000,000 or 1,000,000,000 years. They don't know. There's just no really way to tell. Oh, Secure Team used to have amazing video of this ship. Yeah, Secure Team rocked. Man, I love that show. That guy rocked, man. I mean, I heard he was maybe back. Is he back? Does anybody know? Because he should be. I hope that he's back. Here's another picture of the moon. Now, this is called Moon Towers. Now, I don't remember exactly where this comes from, but I think it's from a Soviet mission where they photographed towers on the moon. And clearly it's something. And what's this? You know, it's very interesting. But moon towers. So I don't have any recollection of exactly where that's from, but a curious photograph nonetheless. The mystery photograph. And what do we have next? You know what always intrigued me was this place that they visited, Ceres. It's a planetoid. Do you remember that? When they found that, they found those bright spots. Like, what could that be? And NASA's like, it's just reflection, blah, blah, blah. No, it's not a base. No, it couldn't be. It wouldn't be one of our secret bases that we're not supposed to tell you guys about, that we don't even know about. That pretty much looks like a base. I mean, you know, look at that. Or else a mirror factory with a lot of broken parts outside. What do you guys think? Okay, I'm gonna make it bigger. Look at bigger. Look at that. What is that? Come on. What is that? It's like more than just bright. It's super bright, okay? And it looks like it's lighting up the whole area around it, like a city. I don't know. I think that there's something there. I really do. I think that there's Ceres. It's in the asteroid belt. And it's an anomaly, you know? I want to show you something that I designed years ago, and that's a flag that can be flown anywhere, and because it has all the countries on it, one planet, one people. Can't you see that we are equal? So yeah, I do believe that we can have world unity. I just don't think it's going to happen the way that the cabal thinks it's going to happen. I think it's going to happen on a more naturalistic type of a way. You know, because it's cool to be the nice guys, but you know, peace through strength, but tolerance, and you know, it's where we go one, we go all, right? Everybody. And I think our Cloaked Unseen World said that very eloquently tonight on Red Pill's channel. So if you heard that, yeah, the whole Ceres thing, I'm telling you, there's something about that. I don't know. You know? Okay. Maybe we can go to this. Let's try this. Let's try this, shall we? All right. Here's a little newspaper that I launched many, many years ago in the Minneapolis area with a friend of mine. And it was called the Twin Cities Rag. And it was comics and ads. So I did the top first comic, Mr. Drip and the Dino Roars. And my buddy Ray Kramer, who has now sadly passed away, did the middle one, The Rebel, which I think is a really cool comic. But a little bit of the other side of me, of what I do. Art and humor. So Mr. Drip, he's kind of like, he's shaped like a drip of water. So he's Mr. Drip. And he's like, what a great planet. You know, he's just, the day is perfect, right? The birds are singing, the animals are playing. Nothing could spoil this day. Okay, the bird's flying overhead, he dumps on him. The dog is whizzing on him. Then again, yeah, I guess something could spoil the day. Yeah. And then this is Ray Kramer's Rebel, which I think is brilliant. It shows a young guy on the drums, just going nuts on the drums. And the house is going bump, bump, bump. And it's Rebel without applause. Rebel without applause. I think that's really great. And there's like his old man watching him with your earphones on, not listening, of course. So no one's clapping, but he's just pumping out the rock and roll. And the bottom here, the Dan Roars by Archaeology. Get that? Archaeology. Hey, Theo, looks like we're going to rule this land forever. Bronto, nothing lasts forever. One day we'll all be extinct. Trust me, it'll never happen. I'd even stake my life on it. So there you go. A little bit of comic humor from the old days. So a little bit of fun. A little bit of homage to my friend Ray, who passed away a couple of years ago. He was also a very good songwriter too. He wrote some good songs. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. And do we have any flat earthers out there? I don't know. I've shared this a couple times. Maybe it's getting too old to share. But I have a meme that I did. It's, well, I'll just share it. What the heck? I'm talking about it. Might as well share it. Okay. Alrighty then. Let's zoom that up a bit. Oops, too big. Okay. I'm gonna go like this. Okay, I say the dog is flat. I say the dog is dog-shaped. Flat dog theory. They have members all around the dog. So is the dog flat or is the dog dog-shaped? That's how I see the flat earth theory. It doesn't matter. Does it really matter to the fleas if the dog is flat or the dog is dog-shaped? No. It doesn't change their life in the least, just like our lives. Not changed, whether it's flat or not. But I'd say since all the other planets aren't flat, I don't think we're flat. I think the Earth is definitely dog-shaped. That's my theory. What do you think? I'm working real hard on that one. What do you think? I think the Earth is dog-shaped. Yeah. Besides, if the Earth was flat, cats would have knocked everything over the edge by now. Don't you think? Oh, yeah. I always loved that. It was in print somewhere. It's like the flat earthers are so proud of themselves. We've got members all around the globe. Flat Earth, we've got members all around the globe. Really? All around the flat globe? I'll never get that one. Okay. So call me stubborn, call me old fashioned, but I believe we went to the moon and I believe the Earth is round, or not totally round, but definitely not flat. I mean, it can certainly look flat sometimes, but I don't think it's flat like they say it is. You know, I just don't think. What do you think? What does the chat say? Let me get back to the chat. This is very true. I think this show has gone to the dogs. Thank you. That's pretty funny. I'm getting rusty. Pear-shaped? Schroeder's cat knocked us off. Yeah. Concave dog. That's a good idea. That's a good one. Well, you know what? We got to have humor, folks. You got to be able to laugh at some of this junk, right? Cats are interesting. I really think cats are like aliens. Don't you think so? I mean, look at the cats. I mean, they look like aliens. Excuse me. All right. That's an early one. Okay, well, I guess that's not the right one. All right. No one else is calling in, huh? No one's gutsy enough to call in. No. Let me see if I still have that link saved. Nope. I don't. Let's check something out here. All right. How's the chat doing? Looks like it's very comfy. All right. Looks like Amua. I'm looking back at some old ones. Yeah, Amua. Yeah, boy, that if you haven't seen Corey Good's dissertation on Amua, look that up. If it's still around, I'm not sure. Maybe it might not be around. You might have to go to a like a pirate site, but I wouldn't suggest that. All right. Gotta go back to check chat out here. Can't call would wake everyone up. Oh, that's right. Yeah. Well, maybe I'll do an earlier show sometime. Yeah, Terry Hooper says Egyptians considered cats the guardians of the underworld. I think he's got something there. Yeah, it's all starting to make sense now. Have you all seen that meme of it's a drawing of a cat and it's got like a cutaway and it shows an alien inside it? Like it's really an alien in there. Somehow I think that might be true. In some world that has to be a truth. Yeah, cats. You see, the problem with cats is, they were like worshipped during Egypt times, and they remember that. That's the problem. It's like they walk around like, worship me. They have that attitude, or they seem to have an attitude. My last cat was 20 when she passed. Wow, that's old. That's an old cat, Mud Rabbit. I had a landlord once, and when my landlord went on vacation, I had to watch his 23-year-old cat with one tooth. It was a very old cat. And I'm allergic to cats, so it was, I had to hold my breath. But he was a nice guy, so I did it for him. Yep, the globe spins at the perfect rate to keep us warmed by the sun. Yeah, that was nice. Did you see that partial eclipse of the sun? There's some very, very nice photographs of that. Very nice stuff. Very super nice. Well, I want to thank everyone who's watching. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys being here. If there's anything else that you guys want to talk about or bring up, or maybe call in, let me get that Zoom link again. Wait a minute. This isn't it. This is it. Oh, I was putting the wrong one in. Was I? Let's see. Where did it go? Okay. I'm not sure if that's the right. Oh boy. Let's see here. Should be the one attached to it. Okay. I don't think I should have clicked on that. All right. Yeah. Lovely. Got some blues going here. Here's a pic that I think is a cool picture. And it's cool. The top part is the cool part, okay? Because it's a sketch by William Tompkins. And it's right. It has to be around here somewhere. I hope you're all enjoying also my shows I'm doing with Andrew Bishago. Actually, it's his show. I'm just the moderator on Sundays, 3 to 5 Central. It's a call-in show. You can call in and talk to Andy, ask him questions about his amazing life and get his response to your questions. It's pretty cool. We've done a number of them, 15 shows already. So here it is. Now, I remember when we landed on the moon. Okay, there was 2 minutes missing. Those 2 minutes were captured. The audio was captured by ham radio operators. And right after they landed, there was 2 minutes of blank, and no one knew what was happening. The ham radio operators recorded it. And I've heard these recordings. You can find them on the internet. And it's like, sir, they're huge. These ships are massive. Oh my God, we're not alone here. We're being watched. They're parked on above the ridge of the crater, watching us. And so William Tompkins drew a sketch of what he saw. And this is what he saw. Okay. That's how he remembered it. And then I did a quick little image of it. It looks like it's not quite cleaned up. I should crop that. I have a better version of that, but you can kind of see, this is what the astronauts saw. These ships, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and there's the Earth right there. This is what they saw when they were landing on the moon. And we weren't allowed to see it. They were like, no, turn the camera away. Don't point your camera at them. No, don't look, don't quit talking about them. And when they stopped talking about them, they turned the camera away. Then they went, oh, we finally regained contact with the astronauts. Oh, good, they got it back. You know, everyone thought, oh, they just lost contact. No, they didn't lose contact. They just cut the camera feed and the sound. because this is what they saw. It's incredible. And so everyone was always wondering since 1969, were those ham operators, was that legit? Did they really capture that? Is that really what they said? Well, here's verification. This is a guy who saw it and he sketched it. This is an actual sketch. So that's pretty historic, if you ask me. Pretty damn historic. And again, that should be taught in school, right? Yeah. So we've been gypped, folks. So when they tell us we're giving a little bit of disclosure, we need so much more. And we get more from whistleblowers than we'll ever get from the government. The government's not going to do it. They don't even know. It's gone beyond them. You know, it's crazy. It's craziness. It's absolute craziness. That's why we need full disclosure. Demand full disclosure. If they give you a little bit, couple fuzzy photos, where's more? We want more. We know about the cavalry. We know about the Battle of LA in 1942, where we captured 2 alien craft. One was unmanned, the other, we're not sure if it was manned or not. But the one that crashed into the ocean that they retrieved was not occupied. It was too small to have people or any kind of creatures in it. So we've had craft at least since 1942. And it's 2021. State secret, here's the deal. We need to put a time limit on state secrets. Like on a patent, you get 17 years. Let's give state secrets 17 years, like a patent, okay? And then it becomes public, okay? With minimal redactions, because people need to know. We need to know. We cannot make informed decisions if we don't know the truth. So we need to know all this stuff. We need to know what's been done in our name with our money and the glorious, wonderful things that they've invented, designed, and perfected over the last 70 years, which they have not told us. Gaffernon. The Dark Knight satellite, Gaffernon, he says, evening, what's your take on the Dark Knight satellite? Well, I've seen that thing, it's very curious. I don't really know what it is. It could very well be an alien satellite of some kind. It's been up there longer than we've had satellites, I believe. Probably more than that up there. Oh, you didn't know we captured a craft from Battle of LA? Yeah, that's direct verification from William Tompkins, who witnessed the Battle of LA. He was just a youth living with his folks near the ocean in a second story or almost third story of the house they were in. They were watching it. They're watching many, many ships come in off of the coast. And he said hundreds, maybe more of ships. So it's not just the one ship they show. It's many, many, many ships. And 6 people died, I believe, from shrapnel falling. But they 15,000 rounds, and they couldn't even alter the trajectory of these things. At least the ones that they were filming. Okay, I think I might have a bug in here. think I do have a bug in here. Hope it's not a robotic bug. Hi, Kelly George. I guess I better say something in there. Hi, y'all. Look at that. Look at all that typing I did there. Problems with YouTube and Rumble? Really, what's the problem? Yeah, NASA says it's a discarded canopy. Yeah, that could be, or a blanket or something. It's an odd shape, but that could be just a cover up too. We should have Jetsons cars. Yes, we should have Jetsons cars. We definitely should have Jetsons cars, and they should fold up into a briefcase that we can carry. Yes. I think we should start inventing that right now because it needs to be here. We need to start inventing all the things that aren't here yet because this is the future, damn it. And where is all the future stuff? You know? The phones are just nothing but a distraction. And, you know, I'm just not very good at technology because I got this iPhone, you know, right? And I don't know, I downloaded an app. Like I got this from my daughter. By the way, I'm very proud of my daughter. She is #2 in sales last year from all Cellcom. And so, yeah, I guess 2 people tied for first. So she's second in sales and she'll be first next year. She's great. But so I downloaded an app on my iPhone, a Google app. It's supposed to make my iPhone into a Google iPhone. And I don't know, maybe you can help me. I don't see a Google iPhone here. Maybe you could help me. Oh, that's what it worked. That's my Google iPhone joke. It looks like we got Dark Brain. He's coming to save the show. There'll be thousands of people watching now. Whoa, nice picture. Hello, Dark Brain. He must be getting his stuff together there.
Am I coming in loud and clear?
Gotcha. Can hear ya.
Right on. How
it's going great. I just thought I'd jump on live here because it's been a while, you know.
Yeah, it's always fun when you come on, man. Always some interesting topics.
Thanks. Yeah, well, a lot of the stuff I bring up is old stuff, you know. It's stuff that's been around, but people aren't talking about it, you know. That's the thing about UFOs and aliens. There's so many stories. You know, you could talk about it for 10 years. You barely scratch the surface. There's that much, you know, don't you think?
Yeah, I've come across so much of it, and man, you're an encyclopedia of knowledge because you just soak that stuff up, and that's why I like hearing you so much, is because you bring up things that I've maybe heard about way back when, totally forgotten, and you got all the details, all your ducks in a row. It's pretty neat to hear.
Well, thanks. I'm glad it appears that way. Thank you for the kind words. I'm just winging it, you know. I'm just, you know, oh, maybe I'll bring this up. Yeah, I have that in the wings. But there's certain cases that I just keep going back to in my mind because they're just too interesting, like those California drones. And, you know, there's a wonderful video that someone put together. They took all those crazy designs and they put them into motion, and they made a fantastic video out of it. And they made the dragonfly drones, you know, fly like a dragonfly, and fighter jets following it and shooting it, and it's
oh wow,
and it's all done to the the vocal background of Linda Moulton Howe talking about it, because apparently she did some work on that stuff years ago. But someone took her voice and meshed it in with these really cool graphics. I would play it, but I don't want to be deplatformed.
Yeah, if there's even a potential for copyright, they'll nab you on that.
Yeah, but look it up. It's really fantastic, and my buddy Google keeps out all that stuff at hand. Just look it up; you can find it. It is amazing how you can just punch in a phrase and stuff comes up. Isn't that amazing?
It is. We've got the best tools in the world right now. We've got the most sophisticated information gathering
Mm-hmm.
in the history of the world. So we're in a pretty good place with that. I think it kind of shot some of the slave masters in the foot. I think they thought it was going to be a technocratic overlord system to control the masses, and to a degree it is, but it also backfired big time because people figured out how to use it to gain their freedom, gain mental freedom in a way.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah, we turned the table on them.
Yeah.
We turned their control mechanism into a freedom fighting tool. And they still haven't figured out how to totally control it, even with China giving them all kinds of pointers,
Yeah, and all China's going to do, I'm sure there's already people over there that have figured out how to bypass all that, the Great Firewall and all these things. So I imagine there's going to be some seriously adept info fighters coming out of China, because they, in the same way that we've had to deal these past few years with fighting the fake news, just being on the battlefield, you get your chops down pretty good. So I imagine some of those guys that are dealing with even more draconian measures, they might come up with some pretty heavy firepower in that realm. So yeah, they're breeding warriors against them, against themselves. So they might regret it in the end.
Mm-hmm.
I hope.
Yeah, well, I don't think they regret much. They just go from one evil plan to the next. If that doesn't work, they try something a little more evil, I don't think they get, but yeah, I think we are like putting a wrench in their system. They don't quite know what to do. Like when Soros was at Davos, I think, and he was saying, well, Trump will be out by 2020 or maybe sooner.
Yeah.
And it just hurts me that it appears to be that way to some people right now. It hurts me that is even a possibility, that to be that way, I guess.
Well, I think we're going to see some fireworks. Those audits are almost done. They've found some crazy stuff so far, just a little bit they've picked out. So we ought to see some. Oh yeah, I hope so too.
I sure hope so.
Oh, go ahead.
You made a mention that we all have these tools, right?
Yes, sir.
When I was a kid, I used to always wish we had one of these tools. And back when I was a kid, there was only one place where I saw one of these tools. Now we all got one. We all have our own bat computer.
Yeah, in the palm of our hand.
And we can just fight crime just like the Caped Crusaders themselves. We're doing it, man. I'm sure one of those slots is the meme slot the memes come out of. Right?
That is absolutely right. That's right, man. That whole thing ought to just be dedicated. That's the bat meme computer.
Yeah.
fighting one on the other side of the room. That's just the meme generator there.
You know, Burt Ward, who played Robin there on the right.
Yes.
He's my friend on Facebook.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I encourage anyone who's on Facebook or any other social media site to friend him. He's a really super guy. He and his wife have created a new kind of dog food that extends the life of your dog.
Oh, wow.
They've rescued thousands of large dogs, and they created a new kind of food called Gentle Giants. It helps all size dogs to live longer lives. But yeah.
Huh.
So he calls himself the Canine Crusader now.
Nice.
Yeah, but he's a super nice guy. And he always posts pictures of, he and Adam West at these events that they used to do. And, sadly, Adam West has passed away. So now it's just, and boy, some of the stories that Burt Ward tells, have you ever heard him being interviewed? It's hilarious.
Maybe. I probably have. It's been quite a while. I know that he's sure kept his brand or his fame going for all these years. Like he's one of the ones that is. He didn't go off into a crazy lifestyle or anything. He just kind of kept plugging along, and he's been out there forever. He does events and talks and does like hosting or I don't want to say DJing. What do you call it? Master of ceremonies at certain things, and does all kinds of convention, car shows, you name it. He's kept his name out there quite a bit.
Yeah. Apparently on the set, it wasn't as wholesome as we all thought it might have been.
I could imagine. I mean, these guys are going around in their tights, and they've got all these beautiful women all over the set every show. So
it was the 60s, and I guess it was wild. And I guess Burt Ward wrote a book, and he talks about how wild it was. Let's just say that it was wild.
I could imagine. Little studio 64 action. Everybody's already in costume. They just got to turn on the go-go music, and
it's Austin Powers all over again. Yeah. What a brilliant movie that was, Austin Powers. So funny.
That's a good flick. Yeah, took all the best. I don't know, not memes, but stereotypes perhaps from that day. But heck, it's probably a little closer to reality than we'd care to admit.
What do you think of that one? You see that? Sometimes I can't see the thing.
I might only be seeing half of it.
Uh-oh.
Like I can see the POW in his head, but I imagine there's something going on, Joker or something below that. I don't know.
Okay, I gotta find it. I got too many things open on my desktop here.
But boy, I used to love that show. I've probably seen all of them. I used to watch that as a kid, like religiously.
Oh, me too. Yeah, I love that.
I had the Viewmaster, the 3D slides and the Viewmaster. Yeah, I used to have a bunch of Batman and Robin.
Fantastic stuff.
Reels of that. Yeah, it was pretty neat.
Yeah, it's so visually cool. Oh, there it is. How's that?
Oh yeah, there we go.
I'm sorry about that. Yeah.
Nice.
I saw a meme. It says it's him, and he's saying, "I will punch you so hard that words will appear from thin air." Punch you so hard that words will appear from thin air, out of thin air. So campy, but it was a great show. It instilled a lot of citizenry into people. It really did.
Yeah, that's true.
It was a great show for kids to watch, because Batman is like he's the superhero that you could possibly be. you know, because he doesn't have any kind of crazy superpowers. He's not an alien, you know. He's just a guy with gadgets. He's a normal human,
Yeah.
but he's a hero. So for a kid, it's kind of a hero that you could realistically expect to kind of be. Whereas you couldn't realistically expect to be Superman because you're not born on another planet, right?
True.
But
Yeah, I tried to be him. I tried to be Batman, that's for sure. I
Yeah.
loved gadgets, and heck, I even had a Halloween costume like sewed as a pattern or that you could buy. So I had a mask and a cape, and I must have probably worn that thing out.
Was it the
Wearing
original and 66 one?
No,
Oh.
it was one from the 80s, and it was like a pattern you'd get at the sewing store, you know, licensed.
Oh, okay. I got you.
My folks sewed that up for me and had the ears.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was cool.
Did you ever hear the story that Tim Burton, that first one he did with Michael Keaton, that he actually had they had a different person for Batman? It wasn't Keaton.
Oh,
And they started filming and it just wasn't working out because the guy didn't have the intensity of the eyes behind the cowl.
huh.
And Tim Burton just kept saying, this isn't working. He doesn't have that piercing eye look like Michael Keaton has. And so they rushed him in there. They didn't have time to redo anything. So, and if you watch the first Batman with that Michael Keaton does, he's sloshing around in that cowl because it was made for a bigger guy, you know, the suit.
Oh,
So
yeah,
he's
yeah.
like sloshing around in it. It's way too big for him. But they didn't have time or the money, the budget to make a custom outfit for him. So if you watch
Wow.
that, notice that. But I wonder who is that guy that never got to play him? Maybe it would have been a good performance, and you know, could have launched a career. You know.
Yeah, that's true. And I know they spent huge money on the costuming for that. I think at the time it was one of the biggest, maybe not the biggest, but it was a big budget for all the costumes and the Batmobile and all that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean that was one of the claims to fame, is they just spent massive amounts of money. So yeah, they probably couldn't just go back and redo all the Batman suit. They probably dumped some huge bucks into that.
Mm-hmm.
I also recall that I think, yeah, I don't know if it was Michael Keaton also, but it was definitely Jack Nicholson. I think he made massive amounts of money on that. They say that he didn't take a huge salary for his acting. He said, no, instead I want a percentage of the merchandising.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he took like some paltry amount. He said, I want 1% of the merchandising.
Uh-huh.
And if you recall, they merchandised that thing everywhere. I mean, it was on everything, in every commercial, toys. I mean, everything. You know, you go to the gas station, get a cup of soda, and there's Batman all over it.
Yep.
So from what I understand, Jack Nicholson made millions and millions of dollars just from that.
Yep. He's a smart guy.
Yeah.
You know who I thought should have played the Riddler? I think Jim Carrey did a fantastic job. Don't get me wrong. But before he was picked, I had someone picked in my mind.
Huh.
Prince.
Oh, wow. That would have been
Prince
something.
As the Riddler, and he would sing the riddles.
That'd be cool.
That would have been so freaking cool. But he did do the Batman theme, and he did it brilliantly. But I thought he should have been in the movie. Missed opportunity.
Did he do the theme for that particular one?
Yes, he did. And he had his face made up by, maybe it was for the second one.
Yeah, the Riddler, I think, was maybe in the second one.
Yeah. well, he wasn't the Riddler, but Prince did the. No, which one? Yeah, I'm not sure which Batman movie Prince did the song, the Bat song.
Mhm.
Might have been the first one. I don't know. Something you could check with Google on. Now,
Yeah.
I worked on a toy line for a movie that you might remember, Willow.
Yes.
And here's a photograph. Now, so I worked for Tonka, and we had the Willow license,
Right.
and that's Mad Mardigan. Of course, that's what's his name, Val Kilmer.
Okay.
Back in the background here, that's his body double, who looks exactly like him.
Huh.
And I have a whole folder full of scrap from that movie because we were working on the toy line. The movie wasn't out yet, so we had to look at all these photographs to see, you know, what kind of outfits they had on to make the toys and everything
Nice.
else. Now, one of the things that I designed that was not in the movie, but Lucasfilm liked it so much they were going to put it in the second movie, but they never made a second movie. And they never did the second year toy line either, so they never did this toy. So I'm going to show you this thing. And I only have one really crappy Polaroid of it because it's something I did when I was working for a company, and you know, that's all I ended up getting. I was lucky I got that. But so here it is. This is called, I called it the Siege Tower. And
Oh, nice.
they were impressed with it. Now, what it is, now back in the old days where we had castles and whatnot, now if someone was going to attack a castle, they'd hang out in the woods and they'd chop down some trees and they'd build a siege tower, something they could, you know, either roll up or carry up, even if it's just like a ladder or something. But sometimes they put wheels on it so they can just roll it up, climb up the thing, and then go over the top of the fence of the castle. And
Yeah.
so this thing has a door with two spikes on it. So that would open up and kind of lock it open so it couldn't be pushed back. And it
Yes.
also had a battering ram below it so you could ram the door at the same time. So they'd never seen a battering ram and a siege tower in one. So they were pretty impressed. They wanted to put it in the movie. I went, wow, that's so cool. And then they didn't do the second movie. It's like, oh man.
Dang. Now this looks really familiar. I feel like because I definitely watched Willow and I definitely had some of the toys. And
Really?
man, this, yeah, oh for sure. Yeah, and
Well,
this looks super familiar. Like I almost feel like I've seen this. Maybe it was in
they never
something.
made it. They never made it. If they did, I would have had a copy of it. But you know, they never. This is a prototype. It
Oh
never made
wow.
it past the prototyping.
Dang.
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty slick.
And I was very proud of it. You know, I was very proud of this, and Lucasfilm loved it. And but yeah, it was there was some strange politics going on there. That's the thing about these big companies. There's like weird politics all the time. It's really stupid. It's
Oh yeah.
anti-productive as hell. But
Yeah, I'm sure there was a whole group just chomping at the bit to make that movie, the producers and the directors and all the actors, but then that you got to deal with the, I'm sure, politics of all the studio owners and the, yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of big money guys that you got to convince to let you do the thing.
well, yeah, well, we paid $1 million. Tonka Toys paid $1 million for the for the license to do the toy line for Willow and the toy line for Cyber. Cyber never came out. Cyber was going to be an animated film by or series by Lucasfilm, and it was a story by the guy who did all of the vehicles. He did all the vehicle design for Star Wars,
Oh, nice.
and so it was a cool story. And I did a lot of drawings for that too. A lot of stuff that they really liked. Like I had a tank. It was a low profile tank. I called it the punch up. It was like a super low profile tank, but it could pop up and then pop down. So you could like pop up and then move and then pop up. So you never know where it is. Yeah, but they never did it. That was a bummer. I was looking forward.
Yeah, dang. They should have made that. That would have been, it'd be a classic right now. They'd probably still be making money off of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you ever seen my super cubes?
I think you've lived. Yeah, I have. Yeah, you showed that a couple time on there, but I can never see it. It's always see-through on your background, so it looks like ultra high tech.
I even worked the super cube display into a meme.
Okay.
So let me see if I can share that with y'all. Y'all, I like that y'all. I should have been in the South because I like that y'all thing. It's pretty cool.
I can never help but thinking that if I had one of those super cubes, I would spend 80% of my time searching for it.
Yeah, that's why I sell them in 6-packs. So you won't lose it right away. But yeah, they have a tendency to go to the most difficult spot to get them. Yeah. The unpredictable.
Yeah,
where it's gonna go. Made of the bounciest substance on earth. Yeah, and they're guaranteed to bounce different every time, or your money back. And of course, there's Bernie.
Nice.
Just sitting there.
Should have one bouncing off of his head.
But I got to tell you, I got something I got to show you. My granddaughter loves super cubes, and she loves the super cubes. And let me see if I can find this picture. She was on my Truth Quest set, and we were looking at the super cubes, and the ones that are green, which happens to be the same green as my green screen.
Yeah.
They show the background, so it's like magical. And she was just really amazed by that. I'm trying to find the picture. Here it is. Okay, now I got to get it on there. Oh, wait till you see this. This is like, she's like the cutest kid in the world. Her name is Hazel. Check out this. Cutest kid in the world.
Oh, yeah.
Look at her. But see, you can see through to the background.
Yeah, it's like an Invisicube or something.
Yeah, exactly. Pretty darn cool. But yeah. They float. They're the best eraser you ever used. And if you use it as an eraser, it'll never wear out. I mean, it would take you many, many years because hardly anything comes off of it. Not like a normal eraser. It's a different kind of material. In fact, it took me a year and a half to find that material.
Huh.
So and it is by far the bounciest substance on the planet. Because when I first had this idea, my dad is a tool maker. So I had him ask me if he could make me a mold. He made me a mold, and we were testing all kinds of different kinds of rubber. And I wanted to make out of the same stuff they made the super balls out of. So,
okay.
But it turns out that stuff is so unstable that a sphere is the only shape you can mold it in. We tried molding it in a square, and they broke coming out of the mold.
Oh, wow.
You know, on a super ball, you can dig your thumbnail in and chip pieces off. And
Yeah. Yep.
okay,
And then
so
it does just fall apart.
it's a very unstable material, and a sphere is the only shape that it can be molded in, because a sphere is the strongest shape in nature. So if you got something that's not very strong, you make it sphere and it'll be pretty strong, a lot stronger than it was. So we had to scrap that idea, couldn't use that. And probably a good idea too, because it's a form of natural rubber, if I'm remembering correctly. And you have to weigh out each piece and hand put it in the mold, like a multi-piece mold. And that would take forever, and it would be a disaster on a assembly line. That's why all super balls are made in the Orient, where they have cheap labor and they can sit there, and the person is, putting these chunks of rubber, pre-weighed chunks of rubber in this mold, and hopefully he gets his hands out before it goes, clamps down. But yeah, so I found this material. It's the bounciest substance on the planet, because I had to go back to my dad and say, hey, Dad, can you make me a round mold? Because I need to make round balls out of these different materials to see which one bounces the best, right?
Oh, yeah.
So now if you take a normal super ball and you drop it from a certain height, from any height, and you drop it and just let its own weight bounce, it bounces back to about 65 to 75% bounce back. Okay.
That's pretty good.
This stuff has like a 90% bounce back. It's
wow.
crazy how bouncy it is. And
Yeah,
in the square shape, you get a different durometer in the corners, and it just goes nuts. It looks like it's alive. It's freaky. Animals just go crazy over it. But yeah.
Yeah, I'd want to get one in like a racquetball court, and it'd probably just keep going forever.
Yeah, I took a bunch of these down to the skate park, and that's where the young kid broke the world record. He caught the super cube after the first bounce 15 times in a row.
Huh. Okay.
Old record was 9. I never thought anyone would beat that. I really honestly didn't think. I couldn't believe Alex beat that record. Incredible.
15 times.
15 times. And the 16th one danced off both of his fingertips. If you go back to my YouTube page and scroll way down to the bottom, you'll see the Super Cube World Record Challenge at the Mound Skate Park. It's pretty, not the Mound, Sturgeon Base Skate Park. Yeah, so that's Hazel. She's just a doll.
Yeah, she looks pretty happy there.
Yeah, she's on the spaceship with a super cube. Can't get much happier than that. Yeah, so that's what that is.
Awesome.
So how is the chat doing tonight?
I was in there earlier. It seemed pretty good. I can't see it while I'm on the Zoom call.
Oh, Professor Moriarty, Sherlock Holmes, Duas Bolt says. Yeah, it's spelled differently, but yeah, my name has 2 I's in it, and the Sherlock Holmes Moriarty has only 1 I in it. In fact, if you try spelling it my way, spell check will try to correct you to make it the Holmes way, but don't let them fool you. Where can you find them? Well, the only place you can find supercubes now is in small shops here in Sturgeon Bay or in Door County. Or if you email me, and I can get you set up with some, okay? I gotta figure out a good price to get you a good deal on the Supercube 6-pack. And this is the Supercube 6-pack. There's 6 of them in here. So, and it comes with this little handy dandy little fold out flyer. Hey, look at that. It's got some, I got a hole in my head. Got a hole in my head. But yeah, so it shows you different games you can play. There's the world record holder there, proud young boy. And so yeah, you can pitch these against the wall, see how close you can get it to the wall. If you can get it closer to the wall than your buddy, that'll drive you crazy. If you're doing that all night. But yeah, they're made in America. Like all my stuff is made in America.
Very cool.
Yeah. I got children's books too. Have you ever seen my books?
Let's see. I think I've seen one.
This one?
Oh, yeah.
Crazy stuff too. Look at that.
Yeah, that's wild.
Popple and Popple's Place. They were endorsed by Jeff Foxworthy because they help children's hospitals. But yeah, these are pretty cool books. Very brightly colored and green screenable too.
Well, I'll say.
Yeah, it comes to life on the intro net. Look at that. But yeah, it's a fun little book. Kids love it. Surprisingly, I've had a lot of kids, the author and I have heard a lot of kids, they say Popple is their favorite book. And I'm very honored by that because there's a lot of books. There's a lot of children's books. And for any kid to think that that's their favorite, it's like, wow, I'm blown away. I'm blown away. Maybe he forgot about Green Eggs and Ham or something. I don't know. But, so what was your favorite book when you were a kid?
Oh boy, like when I was a young kid, oh man. I did like Dr. Seuss, all the art in there. I mean, very visual.
The best.
Yeah, they probably were maybe some of my favorites.
Yeah,
my folks did read to me a lot, so yeah, those were pretty great.
Yeah. Yeah. Those were good. I can't believe they're trying to, get rid of all that stuff. Of course, when you're evil, you do stuff like that, right?
Yeah, it's such a weird flex. I don't know, just probably another. Yeah, they're just scattershotting everywhere. Just get everything, take this and that and the other, and where it happens to land on, I guess that's the outrage of the day or something. But yeah, of all things, the most wholesome books ever known that everybody has read at some point in their life, and none of us turned out into horrible people from it. So
right, exactly.
Seems like a little too late now. They've only been out for 50 years, so
right. You're not going to change anybody's mind, except the extremely woke will go right along with any old thing. Which cliff do you want us to jump off today, mainstream media? Here's a book that I am going to publish soon, hopefully. It's called Awesome Possum, The Awesome Possum. And this one is written and illustrated. The other book was just illustrated by me, but Popple and Popple's Place are finished. But this is, oh, look at that, green screenable. Okay, so it's a pretty cool little book. It's about this possum that he's the awesome possum, and he can do all kinds of tricks and all kinds of stunts. And he's got a trick bike. He can roller skate, and he can skateboard, and all these crazy things, and surf. But that's not what makes him so cool and so awesome. It's not the stunts of this possum. It's how nice he is to me and you. So it's how nice he is and how good of a person he is, not the stunts that he can do that makes him. So he's awesome because he's such a nice guy. So it's a nice little message to kids. And can't wait to get that out. And there's another one, Awesome Possum Goes to School is the second one. It's all written in rhyme. And it's a very cool book. And I got to read that to my granddaughter the other day, and she loved it. So,
yeah, she's pretty lucky. Gets all the sneak peeks and gets to play with prototypes. I bet.
That's right. Free Range Brain says, after the Invisimask, can you create the invisible vaccine? Sure, I already did. Yeah, it's already in you. Teleported right inside you. It's already there.
Slipped it in everybody's drink.
Yeah. We've gone and we've seeded the clouds. You're all set. Kind of scary they could do that. Oh, thanks, Kelly George. It looks like she loves the Awesome Possum. Yeah. Now, the inspiration for the Awesome Possum came as I was in a dentist office waiting room while two kids were extremely unruly. So it made me think kids need, to have a role model. And I started writing it right there, and I wrote the whole book sitting there. So it was pretty cool. It just kind of came to me.
Nice.
But there was a need. There's a need for it. I think kids need books like this, wholesome books that treat them, teach them to be good people, Let me just find one thing in here to show you.
Well, you're such a good artist. It's pretty neat that you can that you get a chance to do what you like and do what you're good at, because it'll shine through.
Thank you. Okay, here he is. Okay, there he is washing dishes, right? Okay. Let me see if I can get the picture and I can actually read it. Can I do that? Okay. He is always very helpful. He knows just what to say. He always does his chores before he goes out to play. See? Teaching kids how to be a good kid. Isn't that cool? All right. Here he is. There's the cookies. He is always polite and he always asks please. He only asks once. He never begs on his knees. So it's all about being a good kid, Oh, and look, here's a good one. All right, there's his toys. If you look on his shelf, you'll see a couple super cubes there. And a Tetragon game. He is very thankful for what he has. He doesn't want things with lots of pizzazz.
Those are good lessons, man. The please and the thank you. I find myself frustrated with full-grown adults to this day that they won't say please, and then they get something and they don't say thank you. They just, grunt at somebody and walk off like they deserve every second. I'm just like, you need to tell that person thank you. They just helped you out. Say thank you. Didn't your folks tell you to? What's the magic word?
Yeah, they don't even say real words anymore. They don't say probably. They say probably. What's a probably? It sounds like something that you put a rope on and it's like a pulley, like a pulley, probably. I don't know. Probably, people. You know what else is interesting, and a lot of people do this. Now, the word important, right? People say important. Important.
Yes.
Important. It's like, wait a minute. Is that how it's spelled? How is it spelled? Important. Isn't there a couple T's in there? But people I don't know what that is because it's in all areas of the country. Is this just the way people are talking now?
Me, yeah, maybe.
How do you say important?
I'm a pretty good enunciator, especially when I'm put on the spot. But yeah, I try to. Maybe it depends on the situation too. But
Yeah.
when I'm trying to be do things properly, yeah, I try to say things correctly and enunciate, not cut corners. But yeah, people like to cut corners and just
Yeah.
start doing the lazy way. And in certain situations where it's just you and your buds, maybe that's fine. But then it maybe for people it becomes like just a habit, you know.
Hmm.
So I try to speak properly when I'm in good company.
Yeah. You do. You speak very well. Have you ever noticed that? If you noticed, maybe you've heard they're not teaching cursive anymore in schools.
That's what I've heard.
How to
Yeah.
read it and how to write it. And I have a theory about why they're doing that.
Yeah, there you go. Yep. Yep. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's that I would agree. It's kind of like that 1984, you know, they're talking in there about you destroy the language, you hone it down to just a few words, basically take all the words out so it destroys all the nuance of
Hmm.
meaning. Uh not too dissimilar with writing. You take out one whole style of writing and that pretty well eliminates anybody's ability to
To read it.
read it, much less write it. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's a handicap.
But look how nicely that was done. I mean, looks they really did a great job. And do you know how many pages the Constitution is?
Ah, it's fairly long, but boy, they might have gotten it on one page. I don't know. They got some
4 pages.
four. Okay.
4 pages. And here's my question. If the Constitution is 4 pages long, how come we didn't study it in school?
Yeah, no kidding.
What the hell? We're told it's a great thing, we the people. You know, the first preamble, we learned that, but there's a lot more to it than that, you know?
Sure
So
is.
it wouldn't have taken that much to study it. And some people make a career out of, being a constitutional lawyer or a constitutional expert of the Constitution. It's
Yeah.
only 4 darn pages. It's not that
Yeah.
much to research, really.
No, they packed a lot in there, but it's also probably one of the most important things you could possibly research, being that it is the driving force behind the entire system of government and
Yeah,
behind all of the enumeration of our rights and
yeah.
yeah, basically the bedrock of our entire nation's existence. So yeah, you'd think you'd want to at least touch on it or maybe
Yeah.
read through it once.
I mean, if it was a how am I supposed to say this? If it's a large volume, then I would understand why it wasn't, looked at in school. But it's only 4 pages, and they got us for 12 years, and we can't look at 4 pages. Wow, missed opportunity there. I think,
Yeah, no kidding. It seems like anymore they teach inane nonsense. I mean, I haven't been to school in a while, but some of
yeah,
the stuff I see on the tube of the junk they're making kids read, and it's if it's not downright disgusting, it's maybe just kind of pointless. I mean, sure, you should read some of the classics and things, but if it comes down to the Constitution versus heck, even Shakespeare, I'd say go for the Constitution. I mean, Shakespeare's just fiction. I mean, yeah, got some cultural value, but in the long term of things, it's pretty meaningless.
Yeah. I wonder where
Probably
that
more.
name came from, Shakespeare. Is it some guy shaking a spear? Who's that guy? I don't know, Shakespeare.
That probably not too far off. They say it's a pen name, that it might have been multiple authors, and I guess they were kind of trying to shake up the status quo of writers and
Yeah.
what do you call it, thespians and things at the time. So that was, they were kind of edgy at the time for sure. So yeah, maybe they were shaking a spear at the powers that be to some degree.
Yeah, I think so. It's a weird name, isn't it? Shakespeare.
Yeah, there's a lot of controversy if he was really a real dude or if it was
Right.
pen name from somebody else, or even multiple people writing as a group. Hard to
Yeah,
say.
I heard that the rumor I heard was he was jailed for stealing food or something. And to work it off, they gave him a kind of a community service to go and work at this playhouse. And some guy there who was a playwright said, "Hey, yeah, I'd like to use your name, Shakespeare, as
Huh.
a ring to it." And he just,
Interesting.
that's what I heard. But who knows, right?
Yeah, who knows with that? I could believe something like that. If you want to write something that you're gonna get beaten in the town square for, you're like, hey kid, what's your name? The
Mhm.
script on there. Like, nope, it was him. Don't put me in the stocks.
Don't put you in the stocks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Someone's talking about Napoleon, free range brain, 3 civil wars, Napoleon invasion, a failed constitution. None of that gets taught. 3 civil wars. Didn't they find maybe you heard about this. Someone claims that they found a computer chip inside the skull of Napoleon.
Oh wow, I have not heard that. I've not heard that one, but
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't even know if I've run across anybody doing what, maybe like they exhumed his body and did some autopsy or some kind of
Something like
scan.
that. Yeah, they did.
Like,
They found that in his skull.
huh.
Now, did someone put it there now? I mean, or I do know that at one point he was in Egypt and he did spend the night in one of the pyramids, and he said it was a life-changing experience. So something happened to him there.
Well, it wouldn't, it'd be a surprising thing, but it wouldn't be out of the realm of possibilities. For some reason, it reminds me of all of the strange archaeological finds that they've come across where, and it brings into question the age of the earth, or the way the theories on how things are formed. But they'll be digging through like a coal bed, and then they've come across an artifact that shouldn't be there. Like the coal bed is supposedly millions upon millions of years old, buried in the earth for all that time, and they'll be digging through there and find like a wagon wheel, perfectly intact.
Right.
Or they'll find some like machined or at least carved metal trinket or something like that. I mean, there's plenty of numerous accounts of that type of thing.
Yes.
So I can't imagine how those come about, but yeah, I don't know. I don't have an answer for those.
Yeah, they find some amazing, strange things. I remember, and I might have mentioned this before too, but I remember reading an Omni magazine many years ago. This guy was in He was in Egypt, and he was studying the pyramids. And he went to like a local bazaar, like a market, and there was a guy making hammers. He was making stone hammers, and he had the handle all made. I'm not sure what the handle was made out of, but he had a separate handle. He put it like in this mold, and it had a mold around it that he poured this liquid rock into it. And then when he opened it up, there was a rock hammer on a handle. And the way he made the pouring rock was he took crushed rock, he crushed rock up from the area, and then he added 3 different plants mulched up together that created an acid that actually made it into like a cement, like a pourable cement.
Sure.
And so when he found this out, when he found this guy doing this, he said, "Oh my God." And he went and he got permission from the Egyptian government to take a tiny sample from the outer casing, which is really hard to get. And so he did under electron microscope. They found trace elements of all 3 of those plants in the stone. So
Wow.
that's how they did it. That's why you can't fit a piece of paper or even a human hair between those blocks, because they're poured. The outer ones were poured, not the inner ones, but the outer ones that were completely, so close you couldn't fit anything between it.
Yeah.
That's what they did. And that's also how they got those blocks up there. They just a wheelbarrow full of mulch or crunched rock. They bring it up there and mix the stuff up and they pour it in.
Yeah, that it's definitely a plausible theory. I've heard that before, and it's definitely one of many theories that could be possible. And they say it then mimics, like, I guess if you do a scanning electron microscope where you're looking and finding plant matter residue, that's one thing. But they say if you take that stone and just subject it to normal geologic tests, it mimics the granite. It looks exactly like granite, has all the same properties. But if they took up ground granite and then recrystallized it, I guess it could be basically the same structure, same crystalline structure, perhaps.
Yeah.
And it does. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, so it reminds me of the one that got me to think that, maybe that pouring is a process. Is oh man, I can't exactly remember the name of the place. I want to say it's maybe in Turkey. I could be wrong. No.
You know what, Angkor Wat?
No, it's not Angkor Wat, and it's not Gobekli Tepe. It's one. I want to say it's near Lake Titicaca. So I think I'm on the wrong continent there, but
okay.
It's a very old site. It's the one where they've got all these crazy stone walls. In the same way, all of the blocks are completely flush, where you cannot fit even the thinnest paper in between them. But it's the one that has all of the odd shaped blocks. They're not rectangular. They are all these different geometric shapes and just fit in the funkiest of manners. But those ones, you can see where they're almost bulged out, like everything.
Yeah, they're bulging out. I was just going to say that they're bulging out, like when they're hardening, they're bulging out a little bit, like.
Yeah, like you pour them in a bag or something, and then the bag.
I thought the same thing. I thought the exact same thing.
That looks a lot like, visually, like it would have been something that's just been poured into place, each one.
Yeah.
And to get such wild features,
Yeah.
it almost boggles the mind that anybody would ever decide to carve such a thing. Like,
Mhm.
what would be the point? You just make it square, but no, they make it into, this one's 5-sided and this one's 3-sided, and then you pour something in the middle that's 8-sided to fit in between all of that. Like, what? That's
Mhm.
very bizarre.
Yeah, it's just crazy, all this stuff. There's just so
And
much.
I believe that's the same site. Man, I wish I could remember the name of it, but I want to say that same site, when they excavated it, as with many megalithic sites, all of the very sophisticated building is at the very bottom, totally buried. And above that, over the centuries and millennia, probably, further civilizations have built other stuff above it, but it's much less sophisticated. It's very crude, very small blocks and all chunked together, and very, very, the further up and the more recent you get. But if I recall, that site, they found, when they finally excavated like the main temple, call it, or the main layout and structure, they found those tunnels underneath it. And when they finally got into those tunnels and started exploring them, and it was a pretty good tunnel system, not ultra massive, but pretty big. It went from like one end to the other of the grounds there. But underneath the main structure, pretty deep down, they found a chamber, and when they went in there, it was filled with what they thought was water in this big rectangular pool. But when the explorer went down in there and touched it, it was liquid mercury, a giant pool of liquid mercury.
Wow.
Yeah, that was fully documented, and that, I always thought that was very strange that they, in some way, they were able to extract liquid mercury from probably a mercury containing mineral, but then they must have put some great significance on it to then extract enough to fill this giant, pretty big pool. I don't know how big it was. I can't recall.
Wow.
But like hundreds and hundreds of gallons, maybe more, maybe.
Where was this?
This, I believe, was in that same site with all of those oblong blocks. I believe that main site, I think it was underneath the main structure, that they ended up finding these chambers that had the giant liquid mercury pool.
Wow. Giant liquid mercury pools.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's you can look it up. It's fully documented from the people that had excavated that.
Wow. Yeah. You ever notice that there's different places like the Nazca where the lines are? A lot of these mountains, they're like flat on the top, like they were just cut off.
Yeah.
Notice that?
I've seen that.
So there's this woman, Dorothy Izat, and she's got over 30,000 feet of footage of aliens, craft, and things that she's caught with her home movie camera. But she's got a book called Beings of Light, the amazing true story of Dorothy Izat.
Okay.
But she does a past life regression in the book, and they take her back to like the Atlantean times, and she is like the protector of the children, and back in these times, and she helps them to escape through this tunnel, this underground tunnel in Italy, and they actually found that tunnel later, and the ancient lore for the people there is that yes, this was where children were saved eons ago. So there's actually a story handed down that matches her experience. But she said that there were these crystals. There were white crystals and blue crystals, and they're from different levels of the earth. And when these crystals had like some kind of metal cup on one end of it, some kind of metal apparatus. I don't know if there was wires or something, but there was metal on one end of the crystals. And that somehow enabled these people so many eons ago to use these crystals to carve mountains. They could carve a mountain. They could carve the top off a mountain. They could do all kinds of things with these awesome powered crystals with the metal end on it. And but people were starting to use them for weapons and things. So part of her job was to, like a spaceship, a flight thing, to go around the earth and gather up all of these crystal weapons or tools that they were using as weapons. And they carved a circular, like a cylindrical hole in the ocean, and they dropped all this stuff into the ocean. Now there's some spots in the ocean that are like a perfect circle that goes down really deep. You can see it from space. It's like a dark area because it's super deep. You might find some of those at the bottom of that if they go down deep enough. So
I bet somebody's checked. I bet somebody's gone down there and looked.
maybe not. It's not a very popular story. I've only run into a few people who even know about it. So
Well, I mean, I'm thinking probably some government agency that
yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, probably.
has these craft that can just jump into the water like we've seen on the nightly news. They can just right into the water without even stopping. That they probably have gone down there to look.
Yeah, they probably already found everything.
They may have, unless they hit them really well. Like they might have put some decoys out there too, just in case.
That's a pretty cool frog he got there. He's like a Zen frog, huh?
yeah, that captures well my attitude on life, I think.
Yeah.
Just try to ride the wave.
Yeah. Oh, did you hear about that frog that went to the bank?
No, I haven't heard about that one.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah. True story. So this frog goes to the bank because he wants to make an improvement on his lily pad. So he goes to the bank and he goes up to the loan officer, Miss Paddywhack, and she goes, how can I help you? He goes, I'd like to get a loan, a home improvement loan for my lily pad. It's time to build out. And she says, well, okay, we'd like to help you out there, but we need some collateral, something that's worth some money that that we can hold until you pay it back. He says, well, I have these Hummels. She goes, Hummels? I've never heard of a Hummel before. And the frog is like, well, they're very collectible. Well, I'll have to go talk to the bank manager. And so she goes to the bank manager and she says, there's this frog in my office and he's trying to get a loan for his lily pad. And I asked him if he had anything for collateral, and he said all he has was these Hummels. She goes, I've never heard of a Hummel. What's a Hummel? And the bank president said, that's a knick-knack, Miss Paddywhack. Now give the frog a loan.
Very good. Very good. Yes. I like the play on words. Very good.
Yeah. And it's a clean joke. You can tell it to kids, right?
That is a good one. Yeah, I like the clean jokes better. They're a little more, they can be more poignant.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't need to swear to have humor.
No.
Jeff Foxworthy proved that.
Yeah, that's true.
He hardly ever swears, and he's one of the funniest. I think he's hilarious.
Yeah, there's probably a time and a place for it, but I'm a bit of a comedy connoisseur, at least in my younger days I was. And
Yeah?
I've always much more appreciated the ones that can do it without having to go blue.
Yeah.
A little more sophisticated.
Now, do you remember David Letterman?
Oh yes.
I loved his show. I was actually on his show once. I was in the audience and I was on camera a couple times. But
Oh wow.
I remember the first joke I ever heard him tell, and he was on the Johnny Carson show. So it was just a long time ago. And he comes out on stage. He's giving a little monologue, and I think this was the first joke he told. It's one of my favorite jokes of his, definitely. He said, I finally figured out what to do with all those clumps of toothpaste in the sink. I chip them out, I put them on plates and serve them as after dinner mints. Oh, that's priceless.
It's pretty brilliant.
That's good. Yeah, and he used to say, of course, he used to broadcast out of New York City, New York. The city's so nice, they had to name it twice. That's what he used to say. The city's so nice, they had to name it twice. New York. That's funny.
That is pretty funny.
He was another guy. He didn't have to swear. He was funny just by being him. Yeah.
I used to watch a lot of Letterman. Back in my probably teenage days, I used to watch a lot of Letterman. And he's a good interviewer. He's doesn't even have to hardly say much, just his kind of attitude and like his sort of quippy demeanor is can be pretty hilarious.
Yeah, he really had it. I mean, he was great. When I saw him, Mary Tyler Moore was on, and Kate Bush, I think, was the singer.
Huh.
But during the intermission, during the commercial, the whole time during the commercial, the band is rocking out the whole time. They don't stop.
Oh.
They do not stop. So when that show used to air, they go to a commercial, the band would be playing, they go to the commercial. You'd think, okay, they probably just fade off. No, they keep playing until they come back, and then they stop. So it's like a party. It's kind of fun.
That guy had been playing with him probably from the beginning. I can't remember his name, the band leader.
Oh yeah. What's his name? He wrote that song. It's Raining Men.
Oh, did he write that?
He wrote that for the Weather Girls. It's Raining Men. Oh, what was his name? Bald guy.
Yeah, it's been a while. It's kind of on the tip of my tongue though.
Yeah, me too. Well, maybe the chat knows. Of course, there's a delay, so it'll be 5 minutes, then they'll say something. I'm far behind on this. Dad joke. Yeah. Karnak the Magnificent. Doc. No, Doc was on Doc Stevens Severinsen was Johnny Carson's band guy. Man. You know what? I got Google right here. I might as well ask, right?
Yeah, and I'll know it as soon as I hear it.
I know.
See if I can beat Google.
Oh, it's right on the tip of my tongue. Paul Schaefer.
Yep, that's the guy.
That how could we forget that, Paul Schaefer? He was so soft spoken though.
He was pretty funny too, though. You know, I guess after hanging out with Dave Letterman for 30 years, you probably get some sense of humor. But yeah, he was a pretty silly guy too.
He's a Canadian. He's a Canuck.
Huh.
Didn't know that. That's not bad. When I say Canuck, I say that lovingly because I have family or had family in Canada. Canadian family, Canadians. Canada's a cool place, cool people.
Been there once as a kid.
Yeah, I was a kid too. Yeah. Where'd you go?
Oh boy, where would it have been? Ugh. I don't quite remember. We went up north from Illinois, so wherever that lands you.
Okay. We went to Edmonton, Alberta.
Hmm.
That's right. My uncle was teaching mathematics at a university up there.
Neat. Hey, so I was gonna ask you if you remember. This is totally off topic. Back to some of those photos you were showing earlier. You did that 3D rendering of that ship from the drawing,
Yeah.
the battleship. Do you remember about 15 years ago, there was a guy, I'm pretty sure he was American. It may have been UK, but I think he was a guy out of the States. And he was doing astrophotography or video. He had a setup that was a fairly moderate sized telescope with a digital camera on it. And he was getting amazing pictures of craft
Yeah.
in Earth orbit. He was able to take, his setup was such that he was able to take his digital camera and set the frame rate. He would scroll through frame rates such that it would match the atmospheric turbulence. Like one of the issues with trying to look at a very small object through a telescope, of course, is atmospheric turbulence. You get waviness and you get choppiness.
Mhm.
But he could set that frame rate would match the turbulence, and it would kind of eliminate a fair amount of it and really clear up the picture in a sort of a physical sense. And he was getting extremely detailed video of all these craft, and some of those craft looked very similar to that 3D rendering you did. Other ones looked kind of like Star Trek type craft. Like one of them was very similar to a Klingon bird of prey.
Oh, are you
And
talking about the
many-
guy who finds these superstructures in space?
Yes,
That guy?
exactly. And
Oh,
most
I
of
thought
them,
you were talking about
most of them
Adamski.
are
I thought you were talking about Adamski
about.
from the 50s. No, you're talking about that.
No, this was
Yeah, I
probably,
do remember that guy.
yeah, probably like,
I can't remember his
I
name.
don't remember his name. John something. It was kind of just like a regular name. I've been thinking about him a lot lately, and man, I watched like every one of that guy's videos. People were taking his videos because he was zooming in on such a small little area that it was the viewfinder was kind of moving around a lot, like not super shaky, but he would, you have to kind of reposition the telescope pretty often. So people were taking those videos and then doing image stabilization, so that you just have the image in the center, and the background, I guess, is kind of moving around. But man, he was getting some extremely stable photos already, or videos. And then people were taking that and doing further stabilization, and they were extremely detailed. You could see fine details on these things, and they looked massive. I mean, most of them tended to be sort of like multiple structures connected by what seemed like kind of long, thin connecting rods, or like, I don't know what you might call them, but they all had a similar design perhaps, but each one was different. Some of them had all kinds of crazy antennas coming off. Some of them were a little more solid and boxy, and most of them were like multiple boxes or spheres connected by these like trusses, if you will. I always thought that was very intriguing, and some of the best video you out there of objects in near Earth orbit. And the other thing that people did when they saw those is people pulled up all of the known photos and listings of satellites to see if they could match them. Like, oh, that's just a such and such satellite, because there are lists of where the current satellites are and what their shape
Sure.
is. There's photos and pictures of them, and they tried matching it to all of those, and nobody could find one that it even came close to.
Wow, I'm just doing a search right now.
Like,
Anything.
it's something like John Walson or something similar to that. John Walson, maybe.
Walson. Okay, I'll put that in here. John Walson.
Something similar to that. I may be way off, but I think it was pretty close to that. Anyway, I'm gonna be looking for that, and if I ever find it,
Oh yeah, here they are. Here they are.
Oh, did you find it? Was that his name?
I'm not sure, but these pictures, yeah, Walson. Yep. John Leonard Walson. Okay. I'm just going to do like a screenshot of all of these different ones because there's a lot of them. Okay. But yeah, that's thanks for bringing that up. I totally forgot about that guy. Yeah, some incredible stuff that he got. Man, talk about.
And this photo you're showing on the screen now, what's the story on this?
That's from Mr. Adamski. So he used a telescope with a camera attached to it, and he caught these pictures, and he caught many, many pictures. This is back in the 50s. He was in contact with these aliens, and, same kind of story, giving him the same message that they've always been giving people. But as soon as he starts talking about that, they think he's crazy, and he clearly was not crazy. He had lots of evidence, lots of photographic evidence that he was able to get. Where is that? Okay, it must be. Oops. Uh-oh. Oh, this desktop. There it is. Okay, I gotta click on this first. Yeah, isn't that an amazing looking? I mean, it almost looks like a bird feeder or something, doesn't it?
Yeah,
or a lamp or something.
It does, and I'm sure people would say, "Oh, he faked it. He took a lamp and he plugged some stuff in and then took a photo." But
could be. But he's got a lot of it. Okay, here's that thing you were talking about. Some of the examples of the craziness that he caught into space there.
Yeah, pretty wild. And then seeing them in video is even more. You get more detail because it's kind of moving around a little bit, and it'll turn a little bit, and you'll see different shadowing changes, and you can really catch a lot of minor details. Like I don't think I've never thought that the still photos did all the justice to it. I mean, it shows the shape, but man, when he's doing those videos, he'll zoom in like on, say, like that one in the middle there. He'll zoom in on the back and then scan it all the way to the front, and you can see some crazy details.
Yeah, it sure makes you wonder, huh? It makes you wonder. There's supposed to be, according to the book Alien Interview, Errol talks about these force screen traps to trap your soul. So maybe that's what it's capturing. But Errol also said they're almost impossible to see. So if they're impossible to see, he wouldn't be able to see them with his telescope. So it's something else that he's capturing here. This could be secret space program stuff.
Yeah, certainly.
Or who knows what? Who knows what else it is,
Well, I definitely think that there is secret space programs, and it would be one of their first projects would be, okay, let's go build a secret space station up there that we can do all of our stuff from. And you know, there'd be labs in there, there'd be all kinds of secret programs. Would be, why would they do it on Earth where someone might see them? You go do it up in your unknown craft, perhaps. So I would imagine there'd be numerous of those. I hope it's for good, but
yeah. The Adamski story is a pretty interesting one from the 50s. I got an old book from an old bookshop, and it's got some pretty interesting photos in it. But you know, who knows, right? But at least it was harder to fake back then than it is now. So easy to fake stuff now. Plus, you got these drones; everyone has them. I mean, you know, it's pretty easy to fake stuff nowadays, don't you think?
it is. And then, yeah, and probably more desire to do it too, because people are like, oh, if I fake it, I'll get all the clicks and controversy and all this, you know. I think back then it was, you know, there wasn't a whole lot of incentive to fake it, because like, oh, I'm going to fake it and get famous. Well, it's the wrong kind of famous, because everybody's going to call you a kook and a crackpot, and that's how you'll be known the rest of your life. And then
right, and you'll be broke as a joke. Right.
Yeah, you basically ruin your life for what? So that
yeah, no one in their right mind would fake this crap. I mean,
No,
my life would be so much easier if I never would have seen the things I saw. I wouldn't be doing this show. I'd, you know, probably be living a normal life. I'd probably be gainfully employed. But yeah.
Yeah, and I think at this point, at this stage in the game, after all we've seen, it makes no. I'm sure there were a few people back in the day that probably did fake some stuff fine, and there was probably cover-ups. You know, oh, we need to cover up the real stuff, so we'll send out some guy to throw a bunch of fakes into the mix and then say, aha, there it is, the fake. But at this point, we've seen too many things that are obviously unfakeable, that lends credence to the older stuff that says, yeah, those people actually saw something, and knew, you know, hundreds of people in some cases saw the thing at the same time. So,
well, yeah, I for one would never fake something like this. I would only ever have real things around me. I would never do anything that would be fake in any kind of way. Oh, what's that? Oh my goodness. Oh, it's the famous paper plate UFO. There we go.
Nice.
There you go. It's real, folks. How could you? I can't fake things like this. It's real. That's how I cut my hair. It's not the Flowbee. It's the paper plate. See, I have this on a stick here on a little wire. See?
Nice.
I got a little cushion handle here. And it's just made out of paper plates. And you can make one of these at home too, friends. Look, you need the big plates and the small plates, okay?
Oh, cool. 2
big plates, 2 small plates, and some black tape and some fishing line. And you can, you'll be able to amaze your friends. Oh my goodness, what's that? Oh my gosh, we're being invaded. See,
you got to attach it to your selfie stick so that it's in the background of every selfie you take. They're probably.
Boy, that selfie. More people die from taking selfies than from shark accidents. Can you believe it?
That I can. As they wander backwards out into traffic to get a better shot. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw a meme, a very funny meme. It's this shark, and he's got his mouth wide open, and there's a girl inside his mouth, and she goes, Wait, she's gonna take a selfie of her inside the mouth. Wait, I gotta get a selfie.
Yeah, that's
Well, people have their priorities straight, don't they?
yeah, gotta get that internet fame.
Okay, let's see. Did you see Crafts, Aaron? Did you see Crafts? Yes, Celestial Soul. I've seen Craft. Yeah, I've seen a couple of them. And then Duas Volt says, "Wow, Aaron, saw Kate Bush sitting on Paul Schaefer's piano, singing the man with the child in his eyes." Okay, sport model. Yeah, that's. Oh, I do have the sport model here. Here's the sport model. And this is the one I saw. It's just like this, only it wasn't clear. It was silver. This one's clear. And it's got pieces inside that are rolling around. Whoa.
Huh.
Coming apart. Yeah. I gotta re-glue it. It's kind of it's got the pieces underneath are all coming apart. All the gravity wave generators. There's only one left there. But yeah, pretty cool model kit. I highly recommend it. It's by Testers, and you can probably find one used somewhere. I have two of them, but yeah. Well, Dark Brain, are you getting tired like me?
I am a little sleepy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was a little
Maybe we
sleepy
should-
coming in, but
Maybe we should hang this one up. I really appreciate you coming on and helping me out here. You've really made it much more interesting. Thank you.
oh well, thank you very much. I sure appreciate you sharing your time with us. It's very nice.
I love sharing my time with you guys. I got lots of time to share, so we'll be doing this a lot. And don't forget, friends, on Sunday, 3 to 5 Central, every Sunday, 3 to 5 Central, on this channel, The Quest for Truth with Andrew D. Bishago. Yes, time traveler, teleporter, and Mars traveler. So join us with your questions. The guy's amazing. And he's got a 300 chapter book coming out, and we can't wait. And hearing about the future and the past and everything, it's just amazing. Thank you again, Dark Brain. I appreciate it. And thank you, everyone, for joining me here. Remember, share this out, tell all your friends, wake the neighbors, grab the kids, and watch Truth Quest. Peace in.